with his bird's eye view and a brain to match, is Mr. Know-It-All.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessa, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Saturday, August 15th, 2026. As we race towards the end of the year, how far will disclosure go? We'll be talking about that on today's show, folks, as well as a recap of all the great stuff that's happened this week. Who said disclosure is dead, my friends? Well, we did. Not really. But on that note, let's go ahead and welcome in our audience and see who the hell we have out there. All right, let's take a look at the participants in the chat, and let's start off. We got April's out there along with Aussie. We got Brennan England and Cabriolet. Chief on Beef just popped up along with Digger Dog and Aussie. Dusty Geese in the chat along with Elvis Roten. Found this fascinating. Frank Cathell, Geraldine Durazio, Ghost Fixer, Grateful Benny, J-Cat Meow, and JP Sixgunner. Well, we got Julie Joyce out there, a Boyce along with King Bull and Lord Malphus, and Lori G's in the chat along with, there's Lodius just popped up. Mike's out there along with Michelle, Mr. Joey B, and Ms. Cussa. Would you look at that? We got Necessary Dialogue out there. Gee, I wonder who that could be. OG is out there. OG Guck. Who? Well, yeah. We'll leave that one out there. Psychosomatic Insane is in the chat along with Randy, Robert, John. We got Scooby Dooby Gooby, Scott Jensen. Scuba Steve is in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. You're new, I believe. Spance 777 is out there along with Supercharged Lance Cruiser. We got the Real 2 cruising, Woodrow Smith, X42B, and our dear friend Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy. He's in the back. He's back from vacation. How about that? On that note, let me jump into the studio and say, yeah, it's been one heck of a week so far. Yeah, we didn't think there was going to be a lot of stuff going on every single day until Friday. Things hit. Actually, we did have stuff to talk about yesterday, so today is a little quiet, but it's a recap show where we turn our production time back from 6 p.m. Pacific, which we to 2 p.m., which takes that and puts Disclosure Tonight at 10 p.m. London time. How about that? On that note, I think we've got to go ahead and welcome someone into the back today because Mike's not here.
I'm here. Let the bells ring out and the banners fly. Feast your eyes on me. It's too good to be true, but...
Well, no. There we go. Daryl, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good, Thomas. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Not so bad.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. This is a day of rest for me and my dog, for the most part.
We're not allowed a day of rest, but that's okay. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
You're restless, Thomas. You're always restless. Restless for us.
Yeah. It's two.
It's very true.
Yeah, I got to have a fun time. Now I got to figure out to put the chat back down here. So, yeah, it's been an interesting week. A lot of stuff going on. We've got a recap going on. But, hey, there's still more clips of Lou Elizondo in his latest interview. Let's go ahead. This is coming from the UAP Studies International Security Podcast. Oh, we said international security earlier. You know what that means?
It means we're supposed to take a shot, but we'll do this.
Clinky, my friend. Take your drink. There you go, everybody. Johnson. Oh, my God, no. Oh, my vodka would go. I would need something else to take the shots. I guess you're saying Jaeger bombs or something, or Jägermeisters. Oh, yeah, Jaeger bombs are nasty, yeah.
That will grease the wheels for sure.
That's for sure. So let's find this first video, shall we? I think it's out here somewhere. Let's bring ourselves up and bring down Lou. So this is coming to us from our friend at Interstellar UAP over on X. If these UFOs land on the White House lawn tomorrow, do I put my hand out in friendship or do I point an M16 at its head? Ooh, this sounds like a good one. Let's see where where Lou takes us on this one, folks.
We project
Kind of. So slow. Not slow or cold. So quiet.
we Project Interloper, Operational Plan Interloper, was a very real plan that was being developed, and I wouldn't be surprised if other plans very similar to that have been executed as well.
And in terms of what, this last thought about what we bring to our engagement with the phenomenon, do operations like this represent a coming to the encounter with what intention? An intention of openness and engagement, or a kind of violence?
This is why we have to be very careful about this topic. About 3.5 years ago, I was briefing a 3-star general, and at the end of the hour presentation,
give me 1 second. I want to make this a little bit larger. There we go.
He said to me, "Oh, that's fine and dandy, Lou. That's great. But look, at the end of the day, I just need to know one thing. If these things land on the White House lawn tomorrow, do I put my hand out in friendship, or do I point an M16 to its head?" And I said, "General, this is not a binary solution, brother. You're looking at this the wrong way. It's not an either or. In fact, either or might doom us, because if these things are violent and we put our hands out in friendship, maybe they anticipate, or they look at that as a sign of weakness, right? And so they're going to anticipate that they can proverbially steamroll us. At the same time, if they're technologically advanced and they are not violent, and we put an M16 to its head, we may cause them to respond in a way that we don't want them to respond, right? So it's not an either or. I think intent is very important. It's the same reason why my dogs walk in here and they come in and they lick my face, because they know my intent is always, I love my dogs, right? I've over time, I've proven my track record to be kind and gentle and giving with my dogs. And so they respond to that. There's no natural fear. Now, if a neighbor or a stranger comes to the front door, you will see these dogs' personalities change on a dime. I would not want to be on the receiving end of 5 of these fur missiles. But to me, they're like my children, right? There's no threat because I have no ill intent. They know that. They're comfortable. They're confident that I'm not trying to hurt them. And so perhaps it's the same thing when we're dealing with NHI. I think what we need to do is, what I would not recommend doing is doing something like a Project Interloper for the purposes of shooting down a UAP. Because I've been asked that before. Well, why don't we just shoot them down? That would be a mistake. That would be a provocation. It's the same reason why we don't shoot down Russian airplanes right now. They may not be our allies, but we don't want to poke the bear, no pun intended.
Poke the sleeping bear, not the bear in the room. Just clarifying that.
Yeah,
that's the one thing. We'll go back and talk about this in a second, but
it's really up to us. And I do think intent goes a long way. I think goodness, innocence, intent, these are things that might be more universal than we really understand. They might be something beyond human beings that can express and share those types of feelings. Things like empathy, things like sympathy, things like love, the notion of love, right? Something that everybody in this world feels at times, but yet no one can really explain it, right? How ironic. Something that we all know universally exists, and it's fundamentally most important thing of our existence, and yet none of us have the exact same definition for it. And so, but it's there's a fundamental understanding, I think.
So good conversation coming from Lou here, Daryl. As we look at it, we've always known that one of the things that's actually been prevalent out there in the conversation is these things are just alien. They're not good. They're not bad. They just are what they are. So I understand where he's coming from, but maybe these creatures have the ability to sense our emotions, our thoughts, and play with them. And it's something that, do we really want to be going ahead and luring these things in and shooting them down, which is essential tantamount to, declaring war?
Yeah, I don't think so. And I think it also makes sense to not just assume that there's one species of aliens and they all think the same way, right? I think your experiences would tell you that there's something different than just this, nice alien species. So I think you have to keep that in mind too. Yeah.
So Lou's got a good look at this potentially, and he'll be coming on the show Wednesday to discuss this and a lot more things. It'd be a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then, Corporal Abe, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing? I just want to pick back off of Daryl. I think Daryl hit the nail on the head, and I just want to hit with him. There's got to be multiple species that we're dealing with, and they all got different problems and different wants and different needs. And maybe they, some want to manipulate us and some don't. So that's a weird problem just to even think about. That's almost, if you really boil it down and you're paying attention or you're trying to learn, that's almost ontologically shocking. I mean, it really is. Not even almost. It's just, it'll break a brain. So I appreciate you guys picking up on that, though. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You never know what we're going to be dealing with, and putting the wrong foot forward. Go ahead and take this and spin it down. Now, Grusch had talked recently in his interview. We'll be covering clips from that today as well, where he's talked about what we have here. We have some that seem like they're hundreds of years ahead of us, and others that are like a million years ahead of us. So there is a big variety of different things that have come to this planet and that are here with us now, and it's not like we're waiting for them to arrive. No, they're here, whether we like it or not. Joseph, your hand is up.
Yeah, I wanted to say that if you use the M16, and in light of your opinion right now, where you said they're definitely ahead of us, right? Mm-hmm. The M16 isn't the best option because they're just going to turn around and obliterate us. I think our handout and a welcome is the only logical way to go about it. I can't imagine that shooting them in the head with an M16 is going to bring anything good for us.
Here's the question: we bring out the M16, we point it at them. Are they even going to let us be able to pull the trigger?
Exactly. And Thomas, there's something I want to throw out here because I've often thought of this. I think of our airline industry and how safe it is, right? It's very rare that we have a crash. Right. It seems these things are crashing all over the place for years. Does that necessarily mean that they're that far ahead of us?
Well, depends on why they crash. Is it us bringing it down, or is there another alien intelligence that's in conflict with them for, let's say, fighting over the territory on Earth or things that are going on, right? Is that the potential cause of some of these things being brought down? Because if they are so advanced, why would they be crashing all the time?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, our airline industry is doing better than they are if they're not intentionally being brought down, which is what you just brought up.
And how many people have actually seen a crash? Maybe crash is a euphemism for landed, and crash sounds better because of what you just said. You don't think they're that advanced, but maybe they are, and they're just landing. I mean, who's yet to see a crash?
I agree, but there seems to be crash retrieval programs. That's what they're called. That's what they're labeled. I'm only going by that label. That doesn't necessarily mean they are crashing. You're right, Daryl. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Michael, your hand is up.
Yeah, like we make cars. We drive around in cars almost worldwide. So when we do that, and cars, there are accidents.
Right.
Cars break down. So what that tells me is if they've crashed, that the ships they're flying are mechanical, and B, they're not as reliable as they would hope they would be, and they're probably pissed off at the manufacturer.
Could be that, or you just got to think that what did they mention before? That if you go ahead and affect the energy field that goes around these craft, they're out of their bubble. They are now subject to Earth and its gravity and friction and everything else of moving through our atmosphere. So yeah, something interrupts around the craft, and stuff can go sideways. But what hasn't happened is we haven't had a major airliner crash or anything come down because of the non-human intelligence that's out there.
And as far as pointing guns at them or trying to lure them in to shoot them down, that's a really bad idea.
Yeah,
I think it's a very bad idea.
Now, Dusty Gee out there says they don't crash; they're gifted or brought down. Okay,
I don't believe that.
Interesting way to look at it. Let me bring that up here. They want Skinny Bob back, though.
Never leave your alien behind.
Yeah, never leave your alien behind. But yeah, maybe they do crash, and maybe the ones that do landed, our land is, well, and there's nothing inside of it. Could be that they were remotely piloted. You never know.
And how many, as a percentage of those that are currently flying around us are crashing?
Right.
Because we don't, it's not like they want to disclose. If they want to disclose, they'd be disclosed. So how many are actually out there? Maybe it's a tenth of a thousandth percent that is crashing, if they're crashing.
Yeah.
And I'd also throw this out there for the airline industry, in case anybody doesn't know this. Small planes crash every day.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying, it's the little guys. The little guys are always crashing.
Yeah, that's a good point, Daryl. What percentage are these things crashing? I mean, if it's 50%, well, then there's not very many up there, are there? But if it's something like less than 1%, how many craft are actually flying around our atmosphere?
Yeah, people need to remember that they don't want to disclose. If they wanted to disclose, we would all know.
But the other question you got to bring into play too is, oh, look, they gifted us a UFO, right? Wasn't there a story about a horse a long time ago that there was something inside it? They didn't know it was there, and they took it back into their area, and they let all the soldiers out. They figured out what was going on. What was it? Trojan horse?
Trojan horse, yeah.
Yeah. Possibility as well. We just don't know.
Or maybe it's like I remember this one time somebody calls me up to open up their car, and it's in their backyard or in their parking lot, and it's frozen solid. It's like you couldn't open the car. You had to take it into a garage and thaw it out before you could actually get a door open. And it's kind of crazy, but so maybe they crash a UFO that has nothing in it.
Or nothing in it, or it could also be a misnomer, meaning they're giving it to us, and it's the technology, and it's all fucked up, and we're going to look at it and try and figure it out. But now they're giving us shit to figure out that we'll never do because it would never work in the first place.
Give a monkey a telephone. Give a monkey a cell phone. Have them try and figure out how to make it, or reverse engineer that.
Yep, and it could be a test. Okay, let's give it to them. See what they can do with it. They think they're smart. They never figure this one out. All right, let's move on. Now, Daryl, earlier...
Oh, Andy. Sorry, Andy's got his hand up too. Sorry.
Andy, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, what if these craft are, piloted, crewed, or whatever, what if these are biological potential avatars or
they're just they're biological entities? Leave it at that.
Yeah, biological entities. What if these are, deliberately sacrificed, that they're not sentient beings as we would consider sentient? What if these things are put in there to do a job, and either it goes wrong or they're deliberately sent for us to find? They're not going to be too fussed about losing these things if they're like that, are they? We send, how many satellites and different things do we send out to space with no humans on board? Yes, it's all technological. We don't mind if they get scrubbed because we're not losing a human, a life. Yeah. So
but then
it could well be that as well.
But that logic could be used to say, well, we captured them, we detained them, we cut them up and everything, but they're not real. It's okay. But what do we know is real? We see something and say, oh, that's not a life form. It's just a biological entity, blah, blah, blah. But maybe it's more than what we realize. And we're going to take a life that's out there and discount it because it's our interpretation for our particular benefit versus looking at it. What are the possibilities that we don't even consider of what it could be?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's all postulation. We're all what ifs on this. Is it the fact that, as you've said earlier on, these things could be. It could be the junk. It could be, a minuscule amount of what is actually up there. Like Daryl said, the small, we get small planes crash every day. Is it their version of what we would class as a small plane? Barely trained pilots, crew that hook up and make a mistake. You know, it happens to big, major airliners, and we don't see the big stuff come down, but it's the smaller stuff.
But I don't see them piloting it like we pilot it. However they do it, it's just something completely different, and it's something as time moves on, as facts are brought forward, maybe we'll learn something more about it.
Yeah, David Grusch
trenches now.
David Grusch says they're out there.
You're teaching me right now.
What?
I'm always learning and getting better.
What? What the hell?
What did it say?
Anyway, David Grusch says there's big ones out there that can't be moved. So maybe we'll see the big ones.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It would be nice, wouldn't it, Thomas?
Yeah, maybe they come in pairs. You never know. All right. Now, we talked about earlier this week about the whole detainment situation and who could have been the one of the people from the executive branch, and you kind of brought up Dick Cheney, I believe.
Yep, Darth Vader.
Would you look at that? Baptiste Fricourt out of France said late VP Dick Cheney oversaw detainment situation of aliens from crashed UFO whistleblower, and there's a story about it in the New York Post. Apparently, they must watch the show as well. Yeah. One of those things. All right, let's get on to it. All right, so Immaculate Constellation whistleblower Matthew Brown has made his own particular plea to the president. We got a whole bunch of these pleas. I'm sure I can go back to Monday and find these. There's a whole combination video out there. So let's play this one, and then I'll try and find the next one. This is Matthew Brown's personal message to the president saying, please allow me to talk to the public about everything that I know, which will never happen. We would love it to, but we just have to talk with reality here. I'm sorry. Here we go.
My name is Matthew Brown. From 2018 to 2025, I served as a national security contractor supporting the Department of War and the Department of State. In these roles, I was entrusted with our nation's most sensitive intelligence at every level of classification, along with operations designed to counter our adversaries' most destructive capabilities. Beginning in 2023, I provided sensitive information to Senate and House members regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena, technologies of unknown origin, and non-human intelligence. I also authored the document known as the Immaculate Constellation Report, the public version of which details evidence of long-standing United States government awareness of these subjects. The American people in Congress have not heard the whole truth because secrecy agreements and active threats prevent me from speaking freely. Mr. President, I respectfully ask that you release me from all relevant secrecy and non-disclosure obligations and protect my family from those who wish to harm me for telling the American people the truth. We are not alone.
Interesting enough. He's out there. He's asking to be released from all non-disclosures preventing him to speak. Again, it's, protect his family. Yeah, that sounds good. Protect his job. Yeah, of course. But give all rights and abilities to go ahead and speak freely. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. There's too much national security at play, Daryl.
Yes, he said national security, by the way.
Yeah. Clinky, clinky.
Take it, old drink it.
Drinky, everybody. There we go.
And that includes you, Andy.
Let's get on to it. Now, if I go, let's just go through it. Hold on. The fuck did I just do? Guinea goo. Hold on. The hell did
Can we just talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
The thing that rattling around in my head here is that, Pursue, we know he's not going to go to Arrow. Do you think he's gone to Pursue and made this request?
I think he wants to get to Pursue. It's just whether or not he's able to get to Pursue at this point or not yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're in their early days. Hopefully they will.
It just seems strange that it doesn't seem strange, but there's an avenue set up for people to come and, ask for this, and
right.
He's not pursuing it.
Well,
and I think we know why.
Right. Well, Congressman Burleson said he would shepherd anyone who wants to get to Pursue to go ahead and talk about this stuff because nobody trusts Arrow. Now, what was your question again, Daryl?
No, I'm just curious why. I'm not curious
he's basically
why.
said that based on what's been released in the document from the director of the OVNI, the OVNI, as Ross would call it.
Yeah, OVNI.
That there's not enough protections for whistleblowers from retaliation and such, and that Matthew Brown is actually encouraging everybody, don't go ahead and talk to Pursue because you're not getting the protections you need. Here's the thing. No one has actually seen the classified presidential directive that the OVNI is following, and the directive that the OVNI is following doesn't give all the details that are in that presidential directive. So you may have a bunch of people who are worried about the protections not being there, but when in actuality, the protections may be there. But it's a great way to get a conversation going on the subject and see what can be done for whistleblower protections. Now, Representative Tim Burchett, I think, has a 1 or 2 page legislation that was put out there to go ahead and expand whistleblower protections for people like Matthew Brown. Now, the problem I have with this, Daryl, is that those 2 pages of protections for whistleblowers were ignored and not incorporated into the 2026 version of the UAP Disclosure Act. And you just got to wonder why. You know, Burleson had the chance to bring it in, make it part of it, and then get that as part of the full package, because Burleson made a bunch of changes for it on his own. But if they needed whistleblower protections, why is the person who's putting this legislation through that could bring them in ignored it?
Yeah, this is just this is government. I mean, this is the way the government functions, inefficiently and strangely. I mean, you have the biggest secret in the world, and you just want your family protected. You know, is Trump going to watch this video? Is someone going to put this video in front of Trump? I doubt it. But I mean, well, why can't you go to the president?
I think there's a better chance of the information being brought forward to Trump by Dr. Phil than there is.
It just seems crazy.
Eric
like you
Burleson.
have something, you have like some gigantic secret that's going to help your country out, and you are worried about being killed, your family being harmed. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is. But what are you going to do about it at this point? There's not a lot we can do about it.
I guess create a video.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Joseph, your hand is up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what Matthew Brown is effectively asking for is like witness protection, where his family is taken away and sequestered and protected. And then the other thing is, I'm not so sure it can be across the board, this protection. I think they need to pick and choose certain people, like the people that have come out already and said something, and say, okay, you're going to be relieved of your NDAs, because if it's across the board, it's going to be a floodgate opening.
Yeah. And we have billions and billions of dollars that we can spend to protect these people. So why not?
Yep.
Oh, I agree with protecting them. Absolutely. But as I said, if they say, okay, whoever's involved in an NDA, you're not responsible anymore, it'll be like a floodgate opening. And there won't be any control of the disclosure.
It's never going to happen, because a lot of this stuff has different national security implications. No matter how much the people in the disclosure camp want them to release everything, the reality of that is just basically it's setting false expectations for the audience, basically saying we want this type of disclosure or we don't want anything, which, sorry, sounds cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs to me as it possibly could be. You know, let's take what we can get and move forward with it, and hopefully trying to push it to get more, not just to try and, you know, prevent things from going forward with the established ways that are being proposed.
I love Cocoa Puffs, and Andy's got his hand up.
But Cocoa Puffs or Count Chocula?
I like Cocoa Puffs in a glass with a glass of milk and just a...
Yeah.
Andy.
Count Chocula. Andy, your hand's up. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So we've had this Disclosure Act being pushed. What is it? 4 times now in the last 4 years, and they barely amended it. Obviously, Tim Burchett brought out his 2-pager, which they didn't input into any of it. So that's a bit of a busted flush on there at the moment. We've got Arrow, which is obviously people are running as far away from there as possible because of what they've done. We've got Pursue, which at the moment we don't know what their intent and what their ability to protect all of these people is. At the moment it's all a massive lame duck. We're no further forward on people getting protections for releasing this information than we were at the beginning of all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had 5 tranches.
It seems to be the people who are the newbies coming out in the crowd, like Dylan Borland and Matthew Brown, etc., who are all from the Jeremy Corbell age of bringing things out. Let's just say that all want this, and it sounds like it could be almost orchestrated by Jeremy behind the scene. We just have, but do we hear? I guess I've got a video clip here talking about this, coming from all the whistleblowers in all right, so this is from Matthew Brown, saying this is an important test. David Grusch, Dylan Borland, Jeff Nucatelli, and I are appealing to President Trump for release from the obligations. I think, though, Grusch is in this too, so not sure why they didn't mention Grusch. The American people deserve the truth. They need the truth, and the truth is rightfully theirs. So we've got the group of the Jeremy Corbell whistleblowers coming forward in this, and there's a tie on them together. We haven't figured that out, but we're going to get to it eventually. The American people deserve the truth. They need the truth, and the truth is rightfully theirs. But extreme secrecy has kept it firm, while unelected officials, the bureaucrats, continue to obstruct the president's efforts to release information concerning UAP, NHI, and related matters. Here's the thing. People were going ahead and supposing today that Steve Miller, the president's right-hand man, has been, obfuscating disclosure, but we've heard other reports saying, no, he's fighting on it hand in hand with the president to bring out the truth. So who do you believe? So it's time to cut out the middleman. No. If the bureaucracy will not carry out the president's directive, then give us permission to do it ourselves. In this video, we make that appeal directly to President Trump. Release us from our NDAs and other security obligations. Let us tell the American people what we know. Let America lead the way through disclosure, affirmation, and adaptation to the new UAP reality. Please share this. Make your voice heard. Tell the president, release the whistleblowers, and let them speak. So let's play the video, and we'll talk about it. Here we go.
This is a cover-up. You all know it. We know it. We demand the answers. This is our government. This is our country. This is our information, and damn it, we demand it.
My name is Eric Burleson.
My name is David Grusch.
Jeffrey Nucatelli.
Matthew Brown.
My name is Dylan Borland, a former geospatial intelligence analyst for the United States Air Force.
I'm a Republican congressman from Missouri.
I'm a former career Air Force intelligence officer and former senior intelligence official who served at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency.
I served as a national security contractor supporting the Department of War and the Department of State.
I'm a former United States Air Force Security Forces member
and a member of the task force on the declassification of federal secrets.
I've already provided classified testimony and evidence to the Intelligence Community Inspector General and Congress
regarding unidentified anomalous phenomena, technologies of unknown origin, and non-human intelligence.
We continue to receive credible claims of recovered craft of non-human origin and reverse engineering programs.
This included photographs and videos of these operations to include the craft and the non-human occupants.
I can tell you with certainty that I provide evidence of current operations.
And I've seen this evidence with my own eyes, and I've had these discussions with our nation's most senior leaders in a classified environment.
The American people in Congress have not heard the whole truth because secrecy agreements and active threats prevent me from speaking freely.
But these whistleblowers are being terrorized.
I personally know current and former government employees who possess critical first-hand information.
Daryl, I got to pause it. Actually, we'll play it in a second.
But remain silent because they fear losing their careers,
their pensions,
or facing serious legal jeopardy.
Mr. President,
Mr. President,
Mr. President,
Mr. President,
we need you to use your authority because the American people are behind you on this, and the time is now. Provide immunity for anyone and everyone who has already come forward. and for those who will come forward.
Mr. President, give us the authorization and we're ready to go.
I get where they're coming from. I feel their pain, but got to ask the question: have whistleblowers truly been terrorized?
You're a little low on the volume on my end.
Whistleblowers been terrorized?
Yes.
Okay.
According to the whistleblowers, yes. The whistleblowers we know of.
Right. Well, they have been. Different things have happened in the past. Different people have been brought in. People's houses have been, their personal space has been invaded. Their vehicles have been, tagged. So they're following with what's going on. So yeah, they have been doing things. Taking someone's ashes of their dearly beloved one and throwing it in the trash can and leaving notes warning the people about what would happen if they, if they continue down the path they're going. So that is terrorizing people, I would say.
Absolutely. It's going to take somebody like me who's not married, doesn't have any kids, who's listening to this and just is getting frustrated and just somehow magically appears at the White House and tells Trump, "Hey, look, this is for real. The only thing I really love is my dog." So I guess that's an attachment that they could screw with. But I have a feeling you see all this, I have to think that there's people that are seeing all this and it's bubbling up in their heads like, I'm going to do this. I need to do this. You know what I mean? I have a feeling that Disclosure is going to come out of left field because nobody was looking at this person. And maybe somebody is looking at that person. Maybe that person was General Neil McCaslin. Who knows?
Yeah. Great points. I couldn't agree with you more. So yeah, a lot of things has been going on. Not, and there's some younger guys who are in the air. Well, they're younger compared to Grusch and Elizondo, who's gone through a lot of stuff for many years. So yeah, bring it out. Give them the protections they need. Allow them to speak on things that they can speak on, which is generally a DOPSR process, I believe. Everybody has to go through.
Yep. And you've got Joseph and Corporal Abe.
Joseph, go ahead.
First question I'm going to ask is: do you think President Trump, by providing that immunity, the non-disclosure, do you think he'd be signing his own death warrant? Do you think possibly he's aware of this and thinks to himself, "Well, they'll kill me if I do this"? As you just said, they've gotten to a lot of people who have done it, and maybe he realized, because honestly, to me, the government's not in charge of this. As much as they think they are, and as much as they think they want to be, they're not in charge of this. Clearly, the deep state is in charge of this, or else they'd be able to do something about it. They can't. And that's why I'm saying it.
I've got you. Good points. There's only so much we can do. And, does President Trump fear for his life? Well, yeah. How many times have they tried to kill him? They haven't been able to do it yet. Yeah. I mean, his most important recent thing, they threw him in a freaking food service cart to help him get from point A to point B because they're afraid they were going to go ahead and blow up the plane. But they left the press on the plane. They thought they were going to blow up.
Well, again, I realize that's how, there's been attempts on his life, but he may have come to the realization that if he does this, he's dead no matter what.
I mean, if anybody should be scared, it should be him, right? The FBI raided his home, right? I mean, that's never happened in presidential history.
Right. You're 100% right, Daryl.
But if there's anyone with a big enough ego, a big enough attitude, and a big enough hate for the fucking deep state, I think the only chance we really have to get to disclosure, because we've heard Rubio knock it down as a potential runner for the next president. We've heard VP Vance knock it down. But remember when Trump was asked, when he was running for office and coming up to it, he said, yeah, a lot of people are interested in that. I'd bring that out, right? But it seems like the next cycle isn't that, at least from the Republican side at this point, isn't that cued in. But we are talking about aliens here, right? So even if Democrats do get elected to office, they may love the idea of bringing him in. Who knows? Corporal Abe, your hand is up.
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to throw some random facts out there, or a fact out there. On Amazon Prime now, I was just perusing looking for a movie for tonight. S4, with Bob Lazar, the Bob Lazar story is the number 4 most trending on Amazon under popular now. So
popular now based on your viewing analytics.
Really?
Yeah. Everything is tied to what you view, what it thinks you know, what it thinks it knows about your account. If you were going through a different account and see if
somebody else is using it. Yeah, somebody else has been using this account, but that's interesting.
Yeah. It might be, but I have a feeling this is more.
It's trying to grab my attention. It says it's trending.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, sir. Yeah, there it is. In other words, click on me and watch me.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, so we've got this stuff taken care of on this one. Gosh, a bunch of stuff going on today. So we've got the whistleblower things taken care of. Let's get back to my feed. And I want to go back, scroll back to the earlier part of the week when we had the stuff going on. We got Loeb. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I actually bookmarked throughout the week. I'm just trying to find it back to it earlier in the week. August 10th. That's 5 days ago. All right. Earlier in the week, I think this is on Monday. Oh boy. No, we'll leave about that. We got the vanishing. All right. We got Ross Coulthard in the earlier part of the week talking about Skywatcher didn't disappear. It went full government, meaning it's now in an SAP or something to that extent. Not like Gary Nolan had said, where bullshit. Yeah, I think there's bullshit. Yeah, exactly. So let's watch good old Ross talk about this, and we'll have some fun with it. Here we go.
What happened to Skywatcher, the UAP investigation group co-founded by Jake Barber, James Fowler, and financier Alex Klokas? The last time Skywatcher posted on Twitter X was Christmas Day last year, where it reaffirmed its commitment to applying disciplined science, advanced sensing, and rigorous analysis to the UAP subject. But there's been nothing posted on the skywatcher.ai website since James Fowler left in mid-August last year to follow what he described as a new opportunity.
Right, and as soon as James Fowler left, Gary Nolan had announced that Skywatcher had moved on from the observation phase of what they were doing, and they were moving into the data assessment phase. At least that's what was told publicly at this time, right after James Fowler did leave. Let me get back to this. Here we go.
In aerial intelligence. What Alex Klokas described in the 2 videos they posted on their website suggested huge promise for their UAP research. Skywatcher promised that it would seek to validate the existence of UAPs by using what it calls electromechanical signaling, aka...
No, Daryl, I believe what they did promise is they were going to make this down. They were going to be able to bring a UFO and land a UFO, and all of this information would be shared out with the American public. It would have been by January of this year, I believe.
I think you're right. I don't remember that happening, though.
It didn't happen. That's the thing.
The dog whistle and neuromeditative interaction, better known as psionic summoning or inviting of UAPs. Most dramatically, based on observations from a base here in Sierra Blanca, southeast of El Paso, Texas, the Skywatcher team reported they'd identified 9 separate classes of UAP with their sensors and video cameras.
But There was actually off the East Coast of the United States, there's ProPixel Studio. He's on X. He's recording stuff in the sky every single day. There's different types of things that are out there. And he's got more types than just these 9 that Ross likes to pump up that came out of Skywatcher. So,
yeah, where's the sphere within a square?
Yeah, there's a bunch of ones that are missing, aren't they? Where's the barbell type where they're almost like linked together running as a group? There's a bunch of different types that are just completely missing because, well, that's what Skywatcher was able to go ahead and potentially. But we haven't even gotten videos of all the things that they locked down that they said that they were going to share with the public. Remember, there were some videos that were coming out. We got one announced, and then after a period of time, it disappeared.
Yeah. Now, where's your classic sports model?
The flying saucer, yep. Where's the cigar? We got
I guess that's your Tic Tac,
but we don't have a cigar, which is a classic shape that's been around here forever. Where's the boot heel look that looks like a circle with a flat bottom on it? There's a bunch of different ones that are missing. But let's get back to Ross.
And video cameras. The Tetra, the Tic Tac, the Blob, the Beam, the Manta Ray, the Bright Star, the Jellyfish, the Hornet, and the Egg. Skywatcher pledged to keep the public updated about its activities, but it's a year on and there's been nothing new posted about what they've been up to. So what's really going on? This is quite a story. I understand there's been no Skywatcher field operations since July last year, and I've been trying to find out why, because more were meant to be happening.
But I thought he was tied in really close with Jake Barber.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that he's trying to find out, or they've even cut Ross out of the communication at this point.
Poor Ross.
Insiders have told me by the time of that last July field operation, Skywatcher was actually working with and reporting to a number of government agencies, including NASA, the Department of Defense, and several intelligence agencies, including the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. There is no doubt that what Skywatcher has discovered and recorded was and is of huge interest to the intelligence community and the Defense Department. The inevitable suspicion is that at the very moment Skywatcher announced that it had made a momentous scientific breakthrough, was it gagged by the very group of government?
No, their person who had the technology left. He took all of his toys and went home. All the imaging equipment, all the stuff they had for sensors, all the stuff that they had for the dog whistle stuff, I believe, was all owned by James Fowler. And he's like equivalent to, oh God, we got to play. The guy from who was behind UAPX back in the day. And what they
Dave Mason?
Out.
Is that Dave Mason? Is that Dave Mason?
Dave Mason, yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't played that video yet, have we?
I don't know. But this sounds like a good question that Ross just put out there. A good question for Lou. Is the federal government keenly interested in Skywatcher's data?
There you go.
I doubt
it. Let's continue on. But we will ask Lou that on Wednesday.
All right, I'll try and remember.
Insiders and private aerospace insiders alleged to be guarding UAP secrets from public knowledge. Did Skywatcher get shut down by the legacy gatekeepers?
Oh my God.
Oh God. And find his video. David, I know I watched it. Got it. Aha. All right.
Reel it in.
His thing goes on for 35 minutes. And I think we'll play that one in a bit. Let's get some more stuff here tied into it. Now, we've heard the stuff coming from Ross Colhart on this one. The next one coming in, this is actually coming from the guy who was behind it. What was his name again? My mind just blanked.
Dave Mason?
Not Dave Mason, the guy from Skywatcher.
Oh,
yeah, that guy.
That guy, Fozzie Bear? No.
Yeah. Waka waka waka.
Foz something?
That began the development of the dog whistle. Now, the dog whistle started out as, well, as a baseline, we knew what we were doing in 21 when we had the observation. So in 22, we said, what can we do else to what we were doing already to enhance, right? So the dog whistle is comprised of radar. The radar provides us the ability to observe the UAP. Frankly, for the first 3 years, we never saw them on radar. We had to change things. We had to make new load sets, bring on the right personnel, the right scientists to make adjustments to our technology. In fact, for the first 2.5 years, we didn't think that they were visible on radar. So we used other tools like signals and direct observations with imaging equipment. So that's kind of how we grew to refine the dog whistle. Now today we refined it even further. We use some discrete signals in conjunction with our activities and tactics on the ground. And then the radar enables us to actually, now we see everything on radar. And every time we see a UAP, we see it on radar as well. So that really helps us because now we can make more astute observations and actually learn a lot. Fortunately and unfortunately, the process of running these events and using the dog whistle generates tremendous amounts of data. And the unfortunate part of that is that data is expensive. It's hard to look at the data. It's an onerous task. So
it creates tremendous amounts of data. So you get some 22 terabyte hard drives. Okay. Bunch of them. Turn it into an array. So there'll be redundancy across the disks. These guys can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you've got all the data, you need a local AI system to go ahead and go through it. Otherwise, you're paying into the cloud and they're going to freaking rape you. So you need to invest in technology, which, of course, these guys have Peter Thiel and other people like that behind them. They can afford, whatever they need. So
yeah,
there are limitations on data, but if you look at it from a manual standpoint versus training an LLM model on how it should look and what it should look for, get the data from the methods from the analysts, put into the LLM. Now, all of a sudden, all of that stuff becomes automatic, and that huge encumbrance that they had with data that they say is a major problem goes away.
You should be the czar.
That's just being an architect, but yeah, you just have to look at ways to solve. Let's be a solution architect. You look at they have got a problem. How can we create something to automate the workflows, to make stuff easier, to get the data from here to here where everybody can go ahead and understand it?
Mm-hmm.
Part of our burden at Skywatcher has been, well, we've generated lots of data running these fun events. We ran 6 events in 2024 and 5. Between those events, we have a very large pool of data. And the task now is normalizing the data so that, a scientist shouldn't have to be a data scientist, right? A scientist should be able to have the data curated for them to view it, analyze it, and conduct their analysis. And that's the challenge we have today.
No, the AI should be able to track it down, find it, perform the analysis, and give the final data sets to the scientists to learn from. In theory.
Sounds like a good use of AI.
Yeah.
There's vast amounts of data. It has to go through that process to be curated so that it can be used internally to Skywatcher and beyond.
Excellent. Thank you. Do you want to maybe provide an overview of some of the specific observations that you've seen out in the field?
Yeah, sure. Actually, let's go to let's continue because we're going to get really into that in the next couple slides. So observations are increasing. When we first started making observations in 21, we saw one UAP or one fleet of UAPs. But now, if you'd have told me in 2022, 23, even 24 that I would get sent videos from people on cell phones seeing the same things we're seeing, I wouldn't have believed you because we never saw a UAP with a naked eye until 2025 at Skywatcher. until that point, we'd only observe them on radar and on cameras.
Quick thing. Chief Von Beef has a message popping up. We'll be there in a second or so. More data, please. Daryl, I think another problem we've got going on is because there's so much money potential about what they're learning from and how it can be operationalized into some kind of product for profit. Basically, what we're creating is another layer of disclosure. It was bad enough when the government was doing all this shit, but now we have all these VC and venture funds that are out there that are funding with this, and all that data they're collecting, they're never going to open source it. Now, Gary Nolan says, no, we don't want to go ahead and release all that data out there. We're not going to let it get out there until we go ahead and solve and figure out what's going on. But maybe you need to open source the data, which is something even that Kevin Knuth never did. Coming from the Terror in the Sky movie, they had terabytes of all this data, and they wouldn't release it to the public because the scientists are like, I've got all this data, and I'm not going to share it with anyone. It's mine, all mine. They're doing that basic bullshit that's out there. And if they open sourced it, then a lot of people could take a look at it, including our adversaries, and we could figure it out.
Yeah, the adversary part is an interesting one.
Right.
Andy's got his hand up.
Andy, go ahead. Sorry, I had to do this. I had to do the voice.
I've only just put my hand up. Yeah, I belong to a I haven't been on it for a long time, but there's an app or something on the computer, but I joined up that does all different tracking of animals in Africa and things. And they open source this for people, just ordinary people, to go in, and they put up a load of photos of all these cameras and things that are scattered around in Africa, and people can put in information that they're asking for. I don't know, track a certain animal. If you see this animal in your the clip of it, the image of film that you're given to look at, and then you can click yes, I've seen it. Oh, it's here, or it isn't. It's so easy nowadays to open source any kind of footage from anywhere for people to go on and click and have you seen something that looks anomalous to you in this footage? You click either yes or no. If it's no, then it gets scrubbed, and if it's yes, then it can be passed on to other people to go more in depth. It's not a difficult thing. People have been doing this on the internet for years. This is a project that I joined up many years ago. I having the time to do it and everything. But there are people out there how many people in our community will click onto a website and go, oh, I'll join in to watch information. I can't go out skywatch, and I haven't got the ability. I'm disabled or whatever, but I want to get involved in if not on joining a podcast like this or anything like that, but I want to be involved. Mm-hmm. You can easily do that. So there's all this information that they're not releasing. Oh, we need to go through it. Well,
no, you can't go through it. You're not a scientist. That would pollute the data. Yeah. You might come up with results that challenge ours, and we don't want that.
But
does that mean they'll even ever release the data, though? That's the thing. I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. You don't even need to be assessing the information. All you're doing is scrubbing through all of that, terabytes of information. If you see something that you consider anomalous, then you can click that it's not, I don't understand what this is. It goes to somebody who's more qualified to. So instead of them having to look through terabytes and terabytes of information, they might only have to look through gigabytes or megabytes of information. Use the masses to weed out all of the crap that's going to be out there. You go skywatching, I filmed some stuff and put in the back chat afterwards. And we came up, didn't we? We came up with something that I thought, that looks really interesting. I'd only been filming literally my first or second film. It looked like a triangle. And we went back on it, and Thomas with his big, projector screen went through it. Yeah, and we found actually it looked brilliant on on the camera that I was using, it turned out, to be three birds that were flying that were in perfect triangle formation. But the group of us that went through that information, we were able to assess what it was. Actually, it looked really good, but here's what it actually turned out to be. That's why you use the masses to take out all the, that's a dead bit of footage. There's nothing available in it. Move on to the next one. And people scrub through it and, we'll find information. I don't think they want to release the information to the general public.
Yeah. Talking about my big one, I do wear size 14 shoes. They don't look the greatest, but I'm 6'4" as well, so keep that in mind. Oh, let's get back to James Feller here. Sorry, Andy, you're blushing there.
I'm not blushing, mate. It takes a hell of a lot more than that to make me blush, trust me.
Oh, okay.
High magnification, electro-optical,
as I say, I will say, as I say to my friends, don't do anything I wouldn't do. That leaves you an awful lot of scope.
Yes, absolutely. You know what, my friend, cheers to national security. Chink, actually, there you go. Actually, it's going to be this way. Cheers, my friend. Across the country. We got it. You're fine. You muted yourself.
Sorry, dude. I'm actually refilling my national security.
Andy muted himself.
I did. I did. I need to get back into which side is which.
It's the other side. Yeah, there you go. Your right side.
Yeah.
No, your other side. Your other right. Your other side. There, right at the edge. Right over here. Come on.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Hey, I got to get back into the swing of it, mate. I've just got back from vacation.
Let's get back to this video. Here we go. What happened here? Oh, because I'm on Cheers. That's why. Let's go back. I'll figure it.
High magnification, electro-optical infrared cameras. So part of the reason why we never made observations with our own eyes is because they were so far away. A small object, a 2-3 meter object coming in 3 to 5.
Andy, why are you laughing so hard? What did I miss?
I just saw Chief Bomb Beef. You nearly made me choke on my drink, my friend. Oh, that was, size 14 shoes. That's not a footprint. That's a landing site.
Try and fit in a fucking car and have your head not hit the fucking headliner. It sucks.
I don't have that problem. I'm only 5'6". I'm a short arse.
Yeah.
I'm vertically challenged. I'm not short.
Yeah. Exactly.
5 kilometers away is very hard to see. In fact, a lot of people that see UAPs don't actually observe the UAP. They observe reflections of the UAP. A lot of UAPs are very reflective. And so you'll see the sun glinting off of the surfaces of the UAPs as they fly. So now we are receiving direct observations from people with cell phone footage and broad daylight. And this is happening from the Middle East to Europe to the Americas. We receive videos probably 2 or 3 times a month, and they're valid UAP videos. And we know they're valid because we've actually learned, one of my colleagues has learned and discovered a signal that you see when you observe a UAP, and I'll get into that momentarily. But we've learned a lot from the UAP. Skywatcher, the concept of Skywatcher was derived from observation of UAP. UAP have taught us how to see them, how to track them, and how to interact with them. We have interacted with UAP many times. It's been a bidirectional technological interaction. We yearn to learn more and to have more direct and directive interactions, and perhaps to see where it goes. Kind of to drive the point home, on the left on that screen, you can see a Shahed drone, very common in the Ukraine war right now. And on the right, you see a Class 1 UAP. They are not the same. The flight characteristics of the UAPs, they're just so incongruent with modern technology, our understanding of flight characteristics that are available for modern warfare. From the Porsches and Lamborghinis of modern warfare, such as Anduril and others, all the way to the Model Ts, or maybe even like a Ford Pinto, like the Shahed might be, right? So there's just no correlation whatsoever in the flight characteristics that you see.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, to say the least. And now oh God, we can't get to that one. Okay, so let's start going. Okay, let's play this a little bit of Skywatcher here, and long enough for me to go ahead and hit the head. We'll play this clip, and then we'll get on to
I started out in the military,
Fowler.
Spent a career there, retired as a sergeant major, retired in 2020, and spent about 23 years working for the government, deploying a lot, jumping out of airplanes, doing interesting things in bad places, usually. After I retired, I started several companies, and some of my companies were contracted by the government to do different war game projects. At one of those war game events in 2021, we had an observation. It turned out to be Class 1 UAPs, and we originally thought that was a government-made, U.S. government-made tool, so we were very secretive about it. We protected it and did all the due diligence to kind of make sure that didn't get out anywhere, just in case it was made in America and need to be protected. So that's how we kind of got into it. It was actually by accident. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, I am the, if you will, the lead operations guy. I'm the guy who drove the discovery, but I'm not the pioneer that actually discovered it. Right. So there's two pioneers in this field who wish to remain anonymous right now. One is Mr. K, I'll say. Okay. And he's a really cool dude. He's like a physicist, makes jet engines, flamethrowers, works on hot rods, and does physics for fun as well. Like, he's really, really cool dude. He is actually the first one on our team that figured out that, hey, there's UAPs over us, and hey, you got to come look at this. And we discovered, okay, there's something going on here. And if it wasn't for him, we would not have figured out the dog whistle. We have not have progressed to where we're at. It is because of him that we've arrived here. And the other one is Mr. D. He made a discovery with the signals. So for a while, we couldn't detect the UAPs with radar. Or actually, the radar was detecting them, but not telling us it was detecting them. And Mr. D figured out, hey, we can detect signals from these craft and geolocate them or direction find them in the sky, and then put the camera on it, and there it is. Class 1's the Tetra. Okay. So it's a black-bodied object.
So getting into the different parts of it, let's move on from David Fowler and such. We've got past that. Now, Eric Weinstein popped in, I believe, on Monday or so from a clip that was out there. I know that's where some of these UAP were at White Sands and El Paso, but I can't tell you about it. So Dr. Eric Weinstein talking about this. Generally, this guy is really cued into what's going on. So let's see what he has to say about this in his interview with Joe Rogan. Here we go.
Now, what is going on with the technology and what we're seeing? We've lost control of some airspace. That's what I believe is. I don't know that to be true.
Well, we've never had control of the airspace, let's be clear.
But I believe in with very high probability.
And you think that's what San Antonio is about?
San Antonio.
No, I'm sorry, El Paso.
Yeah, I believe that El Paso is not about cartel drones. That's true.
Okay.
I mean, that's not to say that there isn't a cartel drone here or there, but I don't think we shut down airspace in El Paso to deal with cartel drones.
Right. So what were the experiences that people were reporting, and what do you know about what happened in El Paso?
Well, there's what I know, which is all secondhand. So what I can say I know firsthand is the reporting of various things by various people. But I probably had 5+ conversations about White Sands. People who don't know each other are not connected. So,
and what we've heard back, there's been a lot of allegations made this week that there have been shoot downs going of UFOs over White Sands, and we've had conflicting and that came from Ross Coulthard directly, but we've had from our intelligence sources behind the scenes saying, no, that's completely false. We're not shooting stuff down. And if we are, that's a whole nother question, because that just, we don't want to be at war with these things. Trust us.
Whoever is supposed to be keeping White Sands a secret failed.
Okay, so
I believe that White Sands has an infestation problem with stuff that is either not ours or is being blue team, red teamed ours and not told to our people.
But White Sands has had an infestation problem going since they blew up their first nuclear bomb at that location decades ago. So yeah, there's always been things going on over there. So interesting. Here we go.
How would you deal with the following puzzle? So maybe we're putting our own.
Riddle me this, Batman.
One group is putting our drones or something in the air,
right?
And another group is being told, "How would you deal with this problem? We've lost control of our airspace, but something is going on in New Mexico."
What was the descriptions of these drones? What does it say here? Airspace at the center of the brief but highly publicized incident, February 11, 2026, FAA abruptly announced a 10-day shutdown of the airspace over El Paso International Airport. The restriction was lifted after just a few hours. Pentagon anti-drone testing. The Pentagon was...
Ross Coulthard said the airspace wasn't, released until 10 days later. No, it was hours later, right after that came out. That's just, Ross acting like a tabloid, not reporting the truth, but reporting the stuff that sounds crazy and salacious. Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, where he's going on about White Sands Missile Base. I was curious, and I've just asked my AI on my phone. There has only ever been one nuclear missile or a nuclear explosion at White Sands Missile Base, and that was the Trinity test. It happened in July the 16th, 1946, 45. Sorry. So that was the very first detonation of anything nuclear. Now, I would consider that to have maybe at that point in time being the epicenter of any sightings. I don't think it's going to be now. I think the White Sands is basically clean of any nuclear fallout. As is the two sites in Japan that were targeted in World War II. There's far greater sites for your nuclear missile carriers and your aircraft carriers and all of those ships that are powered by nuclear power. I would be very surprised if it was infested now.
Yeah.
I think there are greater places that are far more, you've commented about, missile storage silos not far from you. There's many other places around that are going to be infinitely more interesting to these entities than White Sands.
Yeah.
So I'm personally, the national security has
stuff
gone
going
down
at White Sands for the
quick.
longest time, as much as you've had it at the other internet, at the labs that are down in that area. It's all a hot spot because there's so many government things going on down in that area. You got Roswell, you've got White Sands, you've got Sandia National Laboratories, all these different labs where we've gone and put together stuff for our nuclear arsenal that, still attract everything till today.
Actual detonations, which are going to be, I would consider, personally, a detonation is going to be the site that's going to be the most interesting. It's going to be the one that, that glows the hottest.
Yeah.
Than, even more powerful than, a carrier or something that's powered by a nuclear or a submarine. These things move about. Your test sites are,
you do something
to one area,
they appear and come in. You never know.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit dubious of some of comments like that. I'm no scientist. I've got no idea on that really, but it just seems that there's going to be far more interesting sites.
With a name like ESA Action 98 asking did you both get probed, it sounds like he may have something he's looking for. You don't want to get probed by the aliens.
We can send them your way. We'll pass on a good word.
Yeah. God. Here we go.
The restriction was lifted.
Wait a minute. If you do get probed, we do have a video about that of what you're supposed to do.
Tell your doctor about lightheadedness, weakness, fever, pain, tenderness, redness, or swelling between the anus and genitals.
Yep, there you go, Skinny Bob, who claims to be a professional prober. That video is for you. Here we go. Let's continue.
After just
also,
a few
don't
hours.
forget your Avi Lube.
Yes.
Pentagon anti-drone testing. The Pentagon was testing high-energy laser counter-drone technology out of the nearby Fort Bliss military base. The FAA grounded commercial flights out of an abundance of caution because of the unannounced testing. Cartel drone activity. Officials from the Trump administration cited incursions from Mexican drug cartel drones breaching U.S. airspace as the primary reason for the defense systems were deployed in the first place. Lack of communication. White House officials later noted that the FAA administrator implemented the surprise flight ban without notifying the Pentagon, Department of Homeland Security, or White House officials.
Yeah, because shit happened. They're like, oh my God, we got to take care of this. Let's shoot these things down. Like, oh fuck, we're shooting these things down. There could be planes around here. Fucking close the airspace. And that's what they do. And sometimes you can't call home and say, should we close the airspace? No, you need to close the airspace because you're doing something to stop what's going on.
That seems crazy.
This story doesn't hang together.
That part doesn't hang together
well,
at all.
That's the thing.
The FAA implemented a flight ban without notifying the Pentagon, the Department of Homeland Security.
Well, someone called them and said, close the fucking airspace. We're doing shit here. We don't want to go ahead and have any casualties in the civilian area. So someone made a call to the FAA, said, shut it down. And they shut it down. They're saying, oh, this doesn't sound right. Why would they do that? Well, apparently they had a fucking good reason.
Or the White House officials. That doesn't even seem legal.
Of course it's fucking legal. Are there laws in place that would prevent the FAA if they got an emergency notice to go ahead and shut down airspace? Of course they can. They own the airspace.
Joe,
but I don't know.
Throw out some bullshit thing and say, but I don't know. Okay.
You and I both have at least 105 IQs. These are like 65 IQ stories.
Yeah.
Well, I won't talk about that. I think you have enough of those 65 IQ stories coming across the channel every day, Andy.
The Mexican drone cartel one seems like a dopey narrative.
But maybe there are actually Mexican drones.
I'm sure the cartels have drones.
Okay, so the cartels have drones, and we're going to use the fact that
Okay. Spantaz. What could possibly remove fear? How about something when you get exposed to the energy field? You are put into this whole fucking euphoria where you don't care about shit and you get these suggestions put into your mind and you just go ahead and follow it because you're putting into this area of euphoria. Now, the only thing that can break that euphoria is extreme pain. Problem, because they do that. So what could do it? The non-human intelligence. Just saying.
El Paso is close to White Sands.
But what was the reported drone activity? Do you know anything about it? Like what supposedly? Yeah,
not going to say.
Ooh,
no,
mysterious.
Hardly being mysterious. I'm saying as much as I can.
I understand.
But here's the thing.
I'm joking around.
Okay.
But I mean, I'd like to know, like what.
Right, but I'm.
Tell me later.
No.
Shit.
No, it's not like that. Look. Oh, fuck you both.
Meta Orc, we are seeing you in the chat. Your comments, well, maybe you're just not communicating to a level where people like to respond. Have you said too many things where people are ignoring you? Try addressing people directly. Maybe they'll come back to you, right, Sweaty?
Stop communicating.
Oh, Sweaty, you've done it again.
Sweaty.
There we go. I took care of the problem. Say something, Daryl. We're missing your dog.
Let's play that awesome music.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There's Ferrari.
Yeah, that's right. Like, yeah, whatever you said, Thomas.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I hear we're going to be talking about black holes later, just so you know.
Yeah, there's a video from the AP put out just 4 days ago that says there is a cartel attacking lots of people.
Well, I'm sure there's cartel drones.
What I'm trying to say is,
I definitely have drones.
Every single person who knows how to keep a secret knows how to use the truth to hide a lie.
Right.
Kind of like he's trying to hide that and cover it up with makeup, but I cannot never unsee it at any particular time.
It's always there.
Right, of course.
So
and that's always been done.
So the thing that I'm doing is I am so grateful to this country. I love my country. I am going to maintain the ability till my dying day to help my country and advise my country. My country is a bitch. I don't know why she's acting this way. I don't know why she's been stupid since 1992. Right? But she's been acting like a moron since the Clinton administration. We're bad at being America, and I can't stand it. So I'm going to, I would love to tell you everything I know. I would love to penalize people for being bad at their jobs, but I'm going to retain the ability to advise my government till my dying day. And so I'm not going to say what I know.
Where's the puppy? Here we go. Let's move on. So, yeah, we got into that one. Where else are we going to go from earlier in the week?
Can I just say before you move on, Tom?
Yes.
Can I just say, he's going on about his high IQ and he's superior to everybody. I've met some intelligent people who are really quite, pardon my French, and you don't hear me swear very often because I'm English and we're very astute and we don't, I've met some intelligent people who are thick as shit. I've met people who are high. I don't class myself as intelligent. I'm common as cow shit, me, and I'm proud of that.
You're part of the Dr. Phil audience. That's someone who I took an anonymous message from, and I read earlier this week, and he just ripped everybody apart, ripped apart Dr. Phil and the audience he represents, and saying they have absolutely no voice nor care in disclosure, which is like, really fucking crazy.
I'm a common working person. I'm working class. I have been all my life. I've met intelligent people, and they come in and try and do my job, and they look at you blank faced because they can't actually understand that some people are almost too intelligent. They're intelligent when they're doing, educational or, scientific, or you actually put them out in the real world and they can't tie their own shoelaces. So, just because you're...
That's why we have Velcro. Come on. They got that from the aliens too, apparently.
Yeah.
Every time I wear my Velcro shoes, somebody's got to make a comment like, I've got some mental problem. It's space age shit. It makes sense. It zips on, it zips off.
Why pull the strings and have to go through the whole bit every single time for them just to come unloosened?
Why did people make fun of smart things? I don't know.
Yeah. There's a place in life for everybody. Just because you're not a nuclear physicist or whatever have you, it doesn't mean that you're not good in every other thing.
So everybody has a right to say in what's going on, and going ahead and degrading the people who are around you is never the approach to take. Just saying.
Yeah, I have an autistic child who is not great at some things, but my daughter is amazing at others. So just because you have somebody like this Weinstein or whoever he is, he's not even in my sphere of interest. So, you hear of people bleating on about how great they are. Actually, I think what you'll find is somebody like him will not be the person who breaks the subject.
He wants to go into the museum and make the speeches and get the little hoity-toities to come and listen to him, where we're at the Disclosure Tonight Pub and Grill.
Yeah.
Everyone comes together. We talk about the stuff. We have a good time. We're joking around, singing songs when it's a birthday and everything, and we get into it. And that's what Disclosure Tonight is. It's the common man's disclosure. But we have a fun time doing it, because who wants to get all there and all proper and shit and just... why not? Let's have fun with it. It's a serious topic, but it takes serious conversation over serious amounts of national security. Just saying.
Can I let the pub, I'm going to let everybody know into a little secret. We have the Disclosure.
You're tapping the side of your nose.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that little secret. Very expensive.
Don't tell anybody. We have the Disclosure Tonight pub lock-in. After show. Yes. You've only got to click the link and come in after the show, and there's all sorts of weird and wonderful and sometimes boring, and you can catch people that you see on the screen here, in the studio falling asleep in front of the camera, me sometimes included.
So for those people that haven't been to the United Kingdom, don't understand. Like in the United States at 1:45 a.m., they push all the drunks out of the bar, so they're out there by 2 a.m. No, the UK has it said, okay, is anyone going to go? No, they lock the door, pull down the shades, and they do a lock-in of everyone in the bar who still wants to keep on drinking until the morning. They let them do it because it's just community.
And we've had 24-hour communities in here with people falling asleep and carrying back in later on. It's a weird and wacky show, guys and girls. So come and join
Andy's trying to say join the back chat, because
join the back chat.
It's a sleepover, okay? Come on back. It's a sleepover. We have pillow fights. It's fun.
Does that mean that Andy doesn't want to wear a suit and tie for the show?
I don't want to wear a fucking suit and tie for the show. I guess I could get a shirt and a tie and a jacket and stuff. I don't want to do that. Don't make me do it,
I own a suit and tie. I own suit and tie. I might look
you
like
bring
a
it up for
tramp.
fucking funerals.
I've been some weird and wonderful places, people where I've had to wear a suit and tie, where they toast
weddings and funerals.
then Her Majesty. No, even more so than that. But yeah, that's for another day. That's for
Her
the back
Majesty.
chat.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
That would have been cool, Andy.
Where are we going to go next? All right. So earlier in the week, yes, it came out that more texts reveal that Biden era U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy responded to Fauci's concern about COVID vaccine in pregnant woman by adding, I've been hearing concerns about the mRNA causing mutations in the developing fetus as well. And also what we found out was causing a lot of terminated, unfortunately,
miscarriages.
Things going on. Now we got this one coming from Avi Loeb playing a clip coming from UAP James talking about the government. This has got to be fucking Ross Coulthart talking about, it's fucking Ross trying to say that the U.S. government through Pete Hegseth went and shot down UFOs. I don't believe it. Let's see where he's going to get to. Here we go. Fucking Ross.
Sources have told me that one of the directed energy weapon systems used at White Sands in an attempt to shoot down these mystery craft is what's called high pulse microwave. It shuts down an aircraft by emitting an intense burst of electromagnetic energy that travels at the speed of light, penetrates the aircraft, and fries its electronic systems. My sources tell me that the craft, objects, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, are being targeted over White Sands, and they definitely show anomalous properties, conforming to the 5 observables that define UAPs.
If, as Ross Coulthart claims, the Department of War was authorized by President Trump to engage with unidentified orbs over White Sands missile range, then the scientific analysis of these materials, all digital data, is key for progress. If scientists get access to the related data or materials, they can perform scientific studies that would test unambiguously whether the orbs represent non-human made technologies. Okay. The solid state structure, chemical and isotopic composition of the orb materials, as well as their flight characteristics and response to human activities, would shed light on their nature and origin. With detailed scientific analysis by the UAP Science Advisory Council under my leadership, it should be straightforward to discern whether they represent mundane interpretations such as the unrecognized natural phenomena, atmospheric phenomena, or human-made technologies, or something more exotic in the form of alien technologies.
Hold on. I'm correcting this really quick. All right. Let's go ahead and move on from this one. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, fuck. You got to be kidding me. No. You're not going to do this to me, are you? Here we go. Bookmarks. I did back one on that one. Let's move on. We got. Let's. I'm not sure if we played this one from Ross. This may be an early one we played earlier. We got Ross again saying this is an attempt by the president to circumvent the legacy program. It's being run out of the White House. This is where he announces OVNI, Daryl.
Oh, great.
The Department of War has quite literally taken...
Daryl, are you rolling something?
No, I'm getting the boogies out of my dog's eyes.
Oh, I do that all the time, too.
...taken on the running of its own covert operation to intercept these mystery objects. And I'm told they have recently downed objects, craft, both in the US and across the border near Juarez in Mexico. I am also told by White House sources that President Trump has personally authorized this operation, which perhaps explains why no full admission has yet been made to the public about the full extent of what the government really knows. There is a full-on effort underway by the administration to recover suspected non-human intelligence exotic technology in a program totally separate from the so-called legacy program.
And we have heard back from our sources that what Ross is saying here is completely false and tabloid journalism. Just saying it. He may sound like it's important, like things that are going on, showing pictures of President Trump, but the reality is the bullshit that's being spewed right now is literally manufactured to go ahead and put a different opinion out there. You know, it's disinformation, Daryl.
Yep. I don't know what to say about old Ross, other than the alien in his nose must be the one commanding him.
Yes.
This is an attempt by the president to circumvent the legacy program. It's been run out of the White House by the president's most senior intelligence advisors. President Trump has tasked the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to find out what these objects are and to capture them. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence, OVNI, is also involved.
There it is. We missed it. The Director of National Intelligence, also known as OVNI.
Yeah. You know, I've never made a mistake when referring to the CIA as, the CIA agent. The CIA agent is after me.
Yeah.
Or the FB. FB.
Yeah. Or the AF. Air Force.
Or the Dow.
Is that OVNI the bear in the room?
Right, there's that too.
Yeah, is his bear in the room?
The proverbial bear in the room.
It's a drop bear. You know what? These are our Australian friends that are like with their drop bears. He keeps thinking about drop bear. You have to walk around with a
okay, Google, are there any bears in Australia?
Koala bears.
Fuck it, it doesn't know that. No, there are no big bears in Australia except koala bears. So what is he poking? Is it the bear that's a koala bear, or is it the bear that's the other kind of things, if you know what I mean, Daryl?
Oh, my God.
Big and furry. And he'd be on the cruise with a certain scientist out there.
Oh, boy. The Soul Foundation could start its own cruise.
And we could start our own booze cruise, too.
Yeah, we can do that.
Open bar for everybody. Here we go.
Of National Intelligence, OVNI, is also involved. Sources have told me that one of the directed energy weapon systems used at White Sands in an attempt to shoot down these mystery craft is what's called high pulse microwave.
You know where this mystery craft, the name came from, Daryl, when they started calling it a mystery? The mystery drones that are affecting the eastern coast of the United States.
Yeah, the big mystery.
Oh, God.
It is a big mystery.
He's a fucking big mystery, man. Yes.
It shuts down an aircraft by emitting an intense burst of electromagnetic energy that travels at the speed of light, penetrates the aircraft, and fries its electronic.
Technically, that's incorrect. It travels at close to near the speed of light, Daryl. However, that's only in a vacuum. So, not within our atmosphere will anything travel the speed of light, except the speed of light. Yeah, here we go.
Systems. My sources tell me that the craft, objects, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, are being targeted over White Sands, and they definitely show anomalous properties conforming to the 5 observables that define UAPs.
The 5 observables that were defined by who, Daryl?
Lou Elizondo.
Oh, yeah, the guy who's coming on the show Wednesday. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
How about that?
Well, would you look at that?
I may have to send him some emergency lighting. I saw the podcast and how he looked, and I was like, oh, my God.
Oh, that looks like a temporary station, right?
I know, but if he needs help with that kind of stuff, the channel will be more than willing to help Lou get set up for this kind of thing.
Sure.
All right, let's move on. We got Ross and his bullshit. All right, but hey, talking about more of that, same line, we got Representative Eric Burleson on 97.1 radio in Missouri, the Show Me State, talking about the set up a perfect case scenario that would cause UAP to come in and then capture it. Oh, that again. Well, let's see where it goes. But I don't think you're going to see the eyes like getting big. I hope they check out his health. That could be a side effect from Mozambique, and I would hate to have it be permanent.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, it could open up to you some jobs that Marty Feldman would normally get.
Yeah. Igor
was briefed on an event that occurred where they basically tried to set up a perfect case scenario where that would cause UAP to come in, and then to capture them or to try to try to document them or record them. And it was very successful. So this is...
Was she just flashing us there? Well, he's talking about
yes, she is definitely checking herself out in the video on her side of the video.
To capture them or to try to try to document them or record them. And it was very successful. So this is when this only happened a few months ago. And this is when the whole conversation changed, because that event was one that no one could deny. There were so many people that witnessed these things, and these were all credible people working in our top intelligence sector, and they brought me in and briefed me on this almost within a few days or weeks after this event happened. So, which is
would that happened a year ago, or just hearing about it now?
So it's funny to watch her eyes because it's a split screen. He's on one side, she's on the other. So guess who she's watching most of the time?
Herself.
Yeah. Like right now.
Is she like Sarah Huckabee, who could take her eyes and focus it on 2 different people in the room at the same time? When
she is not that person.
Oh my God, she was fucking evil how she could do that. She could stare down 2 different reporters, one on this side of the room, one on that side of the room at the same time. And
I've seen that happen with
next without having a blink.
I've seen that happen with some dogs.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I would, how dare you put Ferrari and Mocha and Moose in the same category as that?
I know. No, yeah. I take it back.
I feel,
but watch her eyes, everybody. When she looks to her left, that's Burleson, I think.
That was nice that they did that. They knew that I was researching this topic. Since then, that is the briefing that everybody wants.
Yes.
So the other members of Congress have heard about this. Leader Scalise wanted the briefing. He got the briefing along with a couple of other members. I had only told Leader Scalise about this, and now everybody wants this briefing.
Oh my God. those eye looks, you know what that brought me back to, Daryl? That interview with Ross Coulthart and that one guy we covered the other day. We need to bring it back.
Oh my God. Let me cue something up.
So, all right. Before we get to there, that's something else that, well, if we have enough time after the show, content is getting out of it. Jesse Michaels, earlier in the week, 5 days ago, apparently, on how he was first introduced to David Grusch back in 2021. You know, it was at a capital venture context. I was looking at a company. The guy who had started it was an officer in the Space Force. Not sure if it's exactly the same as David Grusch, but let's hear how Jesse first learned about David Grusch in the first place, because he was one of the insiders for a period of time.
I actually was in a venture capital context. Like, I was looking at a company that was like in space. It actually had come out of Space Force. Like, the guy who started it was an officer in the Space Force, and he started a company in this area, and I was diligencing it, and I was talking to him about, you know, his company, but at the end of my diligence, I was like, hey man, like, I'm also really into this other stuff. I'm really into the UFO thing. I know you're like, you've been around the block when it comes to space. And he was like, yeah, like I'm a believer, but, I don't know that much. Like, there are limits to my knowledge. And like, he could tell I was deep on it. And he was like, I have somebody you should probably meet. And so that's when he introduced me to Grusch.
What year is this?
This was, I guess, 2 years before I put out the thing in July of 23. So 21 is when I met him. Yeah.
Where'd you meet him?
I met him initially at my house. My buddy who's in the Space Force brought him over to my spot. And it was really like a trip for me, because I was like, I don't know, man, you're so used to meeting like these like really like snake oily people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're bringing up all sorts of things, but like, I don't know, a lot of the people in the UFO world, they're just full of shit, and they just speak in these sort of like super hokey ways. And
like a lot of his later podcasts after this, and the people he's talking with these days, because he's already gone through the A-listers and he's getting down to the B and C listers at this point in order to maintain a 3-hour interview. Is it like twice a week now, or is it once a week?
You got me, but I know exactly what you're talking about. He made an entire Jake Barber 3-hour show recently, I think. So,
oh my God.
Really like broke that pattern. I was like, whoa.
What about him broke that pattern?
He's like clearly like mildly autistic, like not, all the way, but like he's a little autistic, like very high.
The smartest guy I had working at my company as a programmer was a director of technology. Won't mention his name for personal reasons. I probably should, but I would. But he's fucking genius. He was probably autistic in the way he dealt with his emotional intelligence and different stuff that's going around. It doesn't mean that you're non-functional. It also kind of means you're highly functional, and given the right, breadth and depth to deal with stuff, you can, complete amazing things.
Attention to detail, extreme like truth seeking, and very sincere too. And so I think, all of those things combined, he's just like, I just broke the pattern,
Did he tell you everything that he later has told us publicly at that meeting?
Did he tell me everything that he later?
Yeah. Like, did you know the details?
Oh, was he like, there has been a crash retrieval program? He was really high level in that first meeting. I think he was kind of sussing me out, but he was like, it hinted like, hey, I think you might be onto something. There might be more here than, meets the eye. But, he was still in the government at the time. So he was very cagey around what he could share. But it was clear, like, when you speak to somebody, you see like the resonance in their eye. Like, I'm decent at like picking cues up like that. And like, I came out still pretty like pumped, because I was like, that guy like got a lot of the fringy shit I was saying. So I was like, there's some like recognition in his eyes that like I could just detect.
He's also definitely clearly a very highly intelligent guy.
Yeah, he's become like a really good buddy, and like he's next level intelligent. He's really, really smart.
Did he hint at all in whether it was that meeting or your earliest meetings, whatever they were? Did he talk about the idea that like, hey, I'm going to go public with this at some point?
Not then, but I got to know him a bit, actually decently well, before he came out, and he seemed extremely frustrated at like trying to like kind of reform things from within. And it was clear at one point that like, it's like he was experiencing a bunch of reprisals.
how could you ever reform the cover-up of UFOs from within, Daryl?
I don't know. That's the reason why the catastrophic disclosure thing
It's
seems
probably
more
the
and more
option we're
likely.
going to get stuck with, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, like, blowback around his investigations. And he was like, I gotta get out. I gotta go public, basically, like for his own immunity and like, so he could actually like affect any sort of change on this.
What do you mean? Like he was trying to reform things from within?
I don't know the actual specifics, but my sense was that the initial strategy was like discover this stuff, bring it to the right people in charge, and then try to like engage in the proper reforms around it. Like, reorganize the legacy stuff, create academic programs around this. So like, it's like, the nuclear stuff. It's like, nuclear physics should not be classified, right? But like nuclear trade secrets should be classified. Like these obvious things. And I think he was sort of trying to like affect this change from the inside. Like, hey, we're not in front of this issue at all. Like we need to be like more forward minded on this. And I think he just wasn't getting any there. I think he was sort of spinning his wheels. I think, superiors and colleagues were doing all sorts of, dirty things. And I think he basically was like, I got to blow the lid on this.
Did he discuss with you, and I'm going to come back to some of the specific things he said for people out there who haven't heard it, but did he discuss with you some of the threats or the
only thing this guy needs is the beer bong in his head
that may...
Well, so along those lines, we just did get a message from Shelley Montgomery say, yeah, so glad I'm drinking more.
I'm sorry, that's disclosure tonight does not all that stuff.
We don't condone stuff, whatever it is. Drink your water, whatever it is. Have a fun time. Wait a minute, Daryl. If you're going to drink, you have to say freaking national security, my friends. Cheers. There you go.
National security. Clinking.
Now you can take a
Drink.
drink a second time.
This guy does need the beer bong. Needs the toucan.
Which guy? Jesse or the guy who was interviewing him?
The guy with all the headgear. He needs more headgear. He needs the beer bong on his head.
Keeping him up at night.
The two cans that go upside down.
With the glasses and everything. Yes, he needs
the beer bong.
The beer bong. Well, yeah, the beer's on the side with the things coming down to his mouth. Yes.
Yeah, he touched on it. Yeah, he was... He touched on, I think certain shots across the bow that he and his family got that were pretty unnerving. It's unnerving, obviously, for him, extremely unnerving, and then unnerving for me to hear as well, because I'm like, man, we're in communication, and like I'm kind of looking into this stuff too, and so yeah, it was. I think it was a very precarious time pre him coming out, because you don't have immunity, nobody knows who you are, and so if
hold on, I have to do.
What are you going to do, Thomas?
Put someone in time. I'm going to put somebody in timeout for a minute. There you go.
Every professional loves to babysit people.
You're in timeout. Put on the dunce's hat. You can come back in a minute. If you keep it on going, I'll put you in timeout for 5 minutes. The next time I'll block it completely. So thanks for coming out tonight. Here we go.
They're going to engage in retaliation. It was like pre-July of 23, not after. I think now it would be much harder for them to do that.
Why do you think he, minus the clear understanding of the knowledge of the subject that you had, and you're a friendly guy too, why do you think he trusted you and gave you all this? And the reason I ask that is because at the time you're not a public figure, you don't have the YouTube channel, and like if you wanted to toss on a paranoia brain from his end, because obviously things were happening in his world, you're investing Peter Thiel's money, the guy who owns Palantir,
You're investing Peter Thiel's money, the guy who owns Palantir,
you could make some conclusions there, like, why the fuck am I being walked into this guy's house? Why do you think he was like, you know what? I fuck with you, Jesse.
I think it was two things. I think it was one, like just genuine social rapport. I think, or maybe three things. Two, like a respect for how far I had gone in like open source techniques, like just like discovering a lot of this stuff on my own, where I think, you should give credit where it's due, where, there are guys who are like, extremely deep, like, Richard Dolan, for example.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of, other guys, back in the day, it would have been like Stanton Friedman or Leonard Stringfield or whatever, guys who you just have to give your props to as far as like knowledge on this stuff. I think those guys are often like way stronger than me, like on like an amalgamation of facts and sightings. Like they just have more of it. I think as far as like theory, I'm pretty deep on this stuff. So I think there was like a mutual respect there. And like coming to the same conclusions. And then I think it was also kind of a trust building process where I don't know if he would have. Well, first of all, he was trying to put this out through like mainstream media initially, and the Washington Post and New York Times kind of shat the bed and didn't end up running with the story.
Why?
And so I don't,
especially New York Times.
I don't know why. I think, I spoke to Leslie Kean about it because Leslie Kean broke the story for the debrief, but she's a New York Times staff writer.
Right.
So she wanted to do it through the New York Times. And I think, what's the guy's name? Is it Julian Barnes? I think it's Julian Barnes. I think they're like Intel editor or whatever, or like national security editor. Like I think he's just like kind of anti the UFO thing.
Right.
And so also I think like none of the 40 people could come forward like directly to the New York Times. And I think like they doubted that. The whole thing is actually absurd because you have colleagues of Grusch's coming out. You published the 2017 stuff. Why wouldn't you publish Grusch? First off, that's total double standard right there. But like, second of all, you have like pretty unimpeachable colleagues of Grusch's, guys like Carl Nell, who set up Army Futures Command, and and others saying like, this guy's like legit and defending his credentials. And then Grusch coming out and saying what he's saying, that itself is a story. And you can caveat it with whatever you want if you're the New York Times. But to me, not publishing that shows like a prima facie a priori disinterest or bias. That's weird.
Very weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You can say like, we don't know and XYZ need to be corroborated, but you have the ICIG, Thomas Monheim, saying this is urgent and credible. That's him. That's not you. And then you have his credentials being sort of backed up. And so I don't know. I can't answer that, like why they didn't publish it. But then I think it was this thing where he was feeling really burned by like the mainstream media. And he's like, my friend Jesse, he has like a smaller channel, but like he's really deep on this stuff. He's high conviction on it.
Excellent episode, by the way.
Thanks, man.
That one with him.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it was fun to make. That one felt like really like I don't know. It was like a beautiful moment. Like I was pumped to do it for him and for the whole kind of movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the thing that keeps coming into my head is some of these stories I've heard from behind the scenes where Intel comes in and says, don't do that.
Yeah.
And that would, especially considering Leslie's there, like that's what I'm thinking, especially also given that he was getting reprisals behind the scenes. So people weren't happy about this.
There's clearly some sort of internal war inside the government. And I don't know if I know the exact fault lines, but it's clear there's some part of the government does not want this out. Another, really does in a limited sense and over time. There's nobody that I think is full Ed Snowden on this.
Yes. We were talking about this before camera. I agree.
Yeah. So I think it's a war between those two sides. I'm definitely on the side of like, again, not knowing ontological truth or whatever and being on the outside. I'm on the side of like, I don't see any reason. I've been given no reasons outside of like these rumors you hear, guys like Jeremy Corbell or like Ross Coulthart who are like supposedly in touch with people like in and around the actual program. It's just like, they always say like, we get super deep with these people. And like, they all say the same thing at the end of the conversation, which is if you knew what I know, you wouldn't be pro-disclosure, You hear that over and over again. And so I'm not inclined to dismiss it. Like, I think there's a credulousness to that world sometimes of reporting, but I also think they're doing good work. And like, it's important to not throw the baby out with the bathwater and kind of parse the good from the bad. I think some of the stuff that they're bringing out is really good. And then sometimes it's a little indiscriminate at times or whatever.
Yeah. Great conversation. Let's move up a bit more. We've got past that one. Oh, forget about that. We've got that covered. We saw that one. That's just bullshit. All right, Richard Bigelow. This is a big one this week. So if you guys didn't see our playback of the entire interview that went on, this is where, let's skip that one. It's 10 minutes of a clip. What the fuck? Why not? Let's play part of this clip. Great. If you haven't seen it, earlier this week, I think on Tuesday, we had the full playback and analysis of Bigelow talking through his interview. Let's play this clip here coming from Joe Murgia. Here we go. Let's play it.
Can you tell us what would be in the briefing document that you left behind? Was it cases? Here's a wave of UFOs. Here's a case. Here was a crash. Anything like that?
I related conversations I have had with General de Brouwer, who was the chief of the Air Force for Belgium. And there was a very interesting flap that it was about 18 months long with triangular craft. And he was in command of all the Air Force. And he really chased the heck out of these. And he told me, he said, Bob, I'm just burning fuel. And it makes no sense. He said, we're going to stop because we're not getting anywhere. All we're doing is getting closer, photographs and things, but we're not getting anywhere. We're not we're not getting any information that is really valuable for us to understand anything, And I gave him other examples of where large amounts of witnesses were involved, and so that he could read about these particular incidences. And of course, the one with 5 Symington is in '97 was so interesting because there you had a governor who was an actual witness, and he made a joke of it and brought a guy in an alien suit on stage because he was scared to death.
It's the Phoenix Lights case.
The Phoenix Lights, which weren't just lights. It was actually friggin' craft, and it came from northern Arizona. I think it started actually in southern Nevada is where the craft began. And in the Henderson area, I think, somewhere in there. And so you see this huge triangular craft, gigantic craft going slowly. And he was scared to death, but finally, fast forward 10 years later, and he confesses that he was an eyewitness, but he didn't know what to do. So he was there at a point in time when the dynamic of disclosure could have been forced, and actually a confirmation could have been from a governor of the state like that. He was a credible guy. So we've had many incidences like that where they, in the early 50s, flying over the White House and the Capitol building. We've had so many of those. So in my report, I included a lot of very dramatic, beyond a reasonable doubt kind of witnesses of exhibitions.
Did you share with him anything about your knowledge of a classified program?
No.
You got a top secret security clearance, right?
Yeah.
It was for the OSAP program for BASS.
Right.
Operated under the DIA.
Yeah.
You learned a lot during that program. It's the largest accumulation of UFO info of any government-funded UFO program ever.
Yeah.
You didn't tell him about it.
It wasn't credible enough, I felt, for him. It's just something pertaining to me. And whereas these other examples are historic, and they're in a lot of literature. They're very famous. The witnesses, the amount of witnesses were huge. We operated under a private situation with the Skinwalker Ranch, and he wouldn't relate to, well, we all had hitchhikers. We all took things home with us. We all saw a lot of stuff, whether it was at the ranch or where we lived, and it didn't make any difference where in the United States we lived. We saw a lot of things, but that wouldn't be relevant for him to be able to relate to that, right?
Well,
so why talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of jumping into the deep end of the pool when you get into hitchhikers and Skinwalker. It's maybe for your first big conversation on this topic, that might not be the place to go.
No, and I didn't. I couldn't even, if he said, "Well, I need a beer," I couldn't even give him something to drink. Maybe stronger than that. So I didn't want to do anything.
I just realized something here. I didn't realize that. It shows me when I make comments in here, in the actual chat in the back thing that I look at for everything. It takes Disclosure Tonight and Daryl, I hate to say it. Where's it at? Thomas, Disclosure Tonight. It's in here somewhere at the bottom. God damn it. Where's it at? It gives me a crown.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, we don't see that in the chat.
No, you don't see it in the chat. Here it is. King Bull 90s. Let's go to the bottom. There we go. Very bottom. Come on. See?
Well, that explains why you didn't do a broadcast on No King's Day.
That's true, my friend.
You used the term non-human intelligence in the sentence you gave him. Hey, try this as you're climbing aboard Air Force One. Say that to media, and then close the door.
Right.
You said non-human intelligence, not ET. Are they the same? And did you share anything with him about what you think it is?
Well, there have been reports of humans on board, right? But the non-human are more interesting. I mean, if a human's on board and he or she has free reign of the craft, that's pretty damn interesting, right? And you don't know where those people are when they're not on board. So, but the other ones some are scary, some, it's not surprising. that in the universe, everything is going to look like us. Every intelligent organism is going to look like us. But you have to have, it's also a matter of respect for any really intelligent animal or creature, whatever it is, right? And the more advanced, the more respect, because you don't know what they know, and you don't know the future, and they may know more than just the now.
Can you say whether he asked questions? Was he curious?
He was distracted by other things. So he also asked me, he did ask questions, but he asked questions about other stuff that wasn't necessarily just on what I.
Hold on, Shelley, I think you've had too much to drink. He's saying, yes, Thomas, regardless, Cupcake still judges you for reasons you don't understand. Cupcake has been dead in this box for years, and she's been on my desk, so if she's still judging me, hopefully, no, never judge me. She was my freaking little baby puppy, always. Died at
We
like
miss
18 and a half
Cupcake.
years old.
We miss Cupcake.
Yeah, we
I was talking about.
He's getting your input on other things going on in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you had to make a guess, would you guess that you got through to him on this issue? I mean, he hasn't stood in the doorway of Air Force One and made those remarks yet, but he has taken.
God, I saw he was just sitting there. It's like, is the camera dead? Is he dead?
In the doorway of Air Force One and made those remarks yet, but he has taken some pretty dramatic steps on this topic since you met with him. Do you think you made a dent?
Don't know. I advised him on something that I can measure, and he hasn't taken my advice so far on what I suggested to him on a totally different, unrelated subject. But so far, he has not taken my advice.
Well, somebody seems to have got through to him because he.
Hold on. We got it. There we go. There's pictures of Cupcake day before. There she is as a puppy. What else do I have up here? There she is with the Mickey Mouse hat that I edified and turned into the Disclosure Tonight hat.
It's Cupcake.
Yeah.
It's Cupcake.
And that's those are the three pictures I have up there. And it's on the top.
Look at puppies.
No, I'm still streaming right now.
Sure.
And I said for the. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Let's go ahead and play it some more. Sorry about that. You wanted to remind me about Cupcake? She's on my desk all the time. I will never, ever forget her. Buddy's up front by the theater. I watch him all the time when I'm watching TV. And Artie is upstairs with Luke.
He's been taking steps that we're seeing real results. I mean, people are either.
Well, I'm talking about an unrelated subject altogether.
Right.
So yes, there are a couple of different task forces that are involved. So there is an initiation of an activity in this subject. It remains to be seen, though, that he gives actual presidential confirmation. The president that took on the challenge of disclosure and of confirmation and actually built a satisfactory conclusion of a relationship between human beings and that subject is going to go down in history as having really accomplished something. And if it's handled right, it can be done successfully.
A lot of presidents have made comments, often after they're out of office, on this topic. Yeah, gosh, I'm real interested in that. Or wouldn't that be something? Or I think aliens could exist, something like that. But nothing like what you're talking about, which amounts to confirmation, saying it's real, they're here, we got to figure it out, and stopping it there, not disclosing.
Well, the dialogue, the ability to learn something from them is huge. What can we do for you? I mean, that's where one of the first things I would ask is not just are we going to survive ourselves? Yeah, that's pretty damn important. That's like probably number one, but close behind that is, okay, we've been aware of you for a long time and the government's never admitted it, but us as a public, we know it. And we're really curious. Is there anything that we can do for you? Not just what can you do. I loved what John Kennedy what he said famously, Don't ask what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. That's huge. So that's giving them a...
Yeah, but the whole thing is people, I want to be healed. I want to be this, but maybe they can't do that. Maybe they can. You never know.
I've got to, I'm going to grab something real quick.
A kind of a respect that they deserve.
If you were president, would you announce that, yes, we've got crash retrievals, yes, we have reverse engineering programs, and yes, we've got bodies?
Yeah, because the rest of the world already knows that. The people that count in Russia and China already know.
Because they've got their own.
Oh, yeah, freaking yes.
There you go.
Yeah, they've had their missiles shut down. They've had their missiles activated, depending on which country you're talking about.
Have you considered the political fallout for a president? Let's say it's Trump, because he might be the guy that would do it.
Exactly.
And just cast
what we've been saying.
His fate to the winds. But he makes an announcement. Yeah, they're here. Yeah, we've got programs. Yeah, we've got crashes. We've got bodies. That's as far as I'm able to go right now. What happens to him politically? Is he able to get anything else done?
That's more than I would have said for him to say.
Right.
What you just said.
That goes too far.
I would advise him to say initially what you just said.
You just say non-human intelligence, been here a long time, and leave it at that.
Yeah, that one sentence is a starter because it's a huge cannon. You've opened up Pandora's box in terms of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So okay. So now you can categorize and segment into topics, and you need time to do that, and it needs to be digestible, and it needs to be not packaged in a scary kind of way, and it can't be packaged in a way that you're divulging what you shouldn't be divulging. How do you know to whom you're talking? How do you know you can trust what they're saying? Because it depends on the form of communication. And what are you asking for in the way of proof or demonstrations to establish trust both ways in the communication process? Because we haven't had that happen before. It is totally new ground. And frankly, we need the others' help. We need the help of the others to help, to guide us.
Yeah, we do. But I think that's what our dogs are here for. So Dr. Phil came out earlier in the week. New evidence on Tranche 5. We've got that. All right. Another clip about, this is from the first episode of Bigelow. We don't need to see that one. Travis Taylor. Oh. Sweaty, you here? We're talking about how a universe lives inside a black hole.
Yes. It's an all black hole. You know how many black holes are out there?
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. This is coming from the basement from Dr. Travis Taylor. Let's see what they're going to talk about. It's not Avi Loeb, but they may play the Avi Loeb thing.
Universe could fit into like 5 to 10 solar masses?
Yes. So the paper that it was really weird how it came about. I was actually working on a simulation hypothesis presentation.
Oh, and you know what? Let's skip this one. Most humans have the ability to produce anomalous results. Using the sixth sense we got from Bigelow, just promised to dedicate his life to UFO disclosure. 41 seconds. I think this is worth it. Here we go.
You and I are going to have a deep dive into consciousness matters in this format, in the Bigelow podcast. A lot of shows, I hope, consuming we're going to continue. But I think it sort of brings it full circle to the question that started it off. What do you want to do with this? How far do you want to go? Both on the UFO topic and consciousness. I mean, you've been involved in UFO research for a long time at the highest levels with government agencies, government officials, presidents, etc. You've learned a lot of things that you have not shared with the public. How far you're willing to go now in this format?
As long as I have and as much as it takes.
You and I are going to have a deep dive into consciousness matters in this format, in the Bigelow podcast. A lot of shows, I hope, consuming we're going to continue. But I think it sort of brings it full circle to the question that started it off. What do you want to do with this? How far do you want to go? Both on the UFO topic and consciousness. I mean, you've been involved in UFO research for a long time at the highest levels with government agencies, government officials, presidents, etc. You've learned a lot of things that you have not shared with the public. How far you're willing to go now in this format?
As long as I have and as much as it takes.
You and I are going to have a deep dive into consciousness matters in this format, in the Bigelow podcast.
To be on a loop.
A lot of shows, I hope, assuming we're going to continue.
Was that Daryl?
We seem to be on a loop.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I just looped. I just
That's
got
right.
back from refilling my national security. Didn't think I was going to have enough to get through today and tomorrow, but I'll pull through. All right, we got that one. We got Ross Coulthard. Oh, fuck. We got it. The object buried in Estonia. Mystery that KGB spent years trying to figure out what it is. Oh, my fucking God. This is the epitome of News Nation and Ross Coulthard turning into a fucking daily rag of the weekly world news. You know, we've all given him a hard time regarding this, but oh my God. Here.
And the thing is, that thing that guy's holding in his hand, by the way, the thing that he's holding in his hand is supposedly a piece of the craft. And I'm just like, the fuck? They make these craft out of bricks? I mean, how does this a chunk come off of the craft?
But they dug down and they haven't found it. They maybe found the ceiling of it. Again, this is like the fucking mystery of Oak Island, Ross Coulthard style.
Mm-hmm. That the Soviets were trying to get hold of that allowed those lines. He's also famous for his role as the well-known host of Estonia's Dancing with the Stars on TV.
Oh my fucking God. They got the host of Dancing with the fucking Stars. They come in, that's a good pose of Ross.
And the reason we have him with us today is because he's just published a brand new book.
Oh, a brand new book, Daryl. Why else would he be on Reality Check? It's a book deal.
Yeah. Called Object M, Estonia's
Object M.
buried mystery, and it's all about the Marivalja object.
I know, that's the whole part of it, Michelle, why we're showing this and roasting it, because it's so bad. It's lame, I know.
But welcome to Reality Check, and I'd just love to know, how did you come across this intriguing story? It's always fascinated me that it's been long part of the mythology of Estonian culture. It's been there for quite a few decades.
Oh my God.
Well, thank you very much for having me, sir. And what a wonderful introduction. Best I've ever heard. And yes.
Oh my God, what a fucking ass licker. Best I've ever had. And look how Ross is all smiling and happy and everything.
Story has been.
Oh God, I need to get to this. I haven't done this one in a while. Desktop GEF. There we go. And then I can make them a bit smaller because they deserve to be. And then we can have room for the chat at the bottom. Hold on, we're about there, audience. I haven't had this one up for a while. But I've redone this one to make it look better for people who are watching stuff on their television sets. Because now we're on the left side that doesn't get cropped. Schmuck face is on the right side, and the chat goes on the bottom. So let's give it a try.
Following me for years, and in some sense, it's not me who found the story really found me. What fascinates me most is probably the amount of contradiction surrounding
Contradictions?
We have scientific evidence which really contradicts itself a lot. On one hand, there seems to be a lot of evidence that the mysterious object or structure, however we choose to call it, that lies beneath this little suburban garden in Tallinn dates from really like pre-Ice Age era. It's based on the
pre-Ice Age area. Didn't it come out to be like 600 million years ago, Daryl, or something like that? That's the last time there was a Ice Age ice covering Estonia was like 600 million years ago.
Yeah, so it's totally plausible.
I feel like he's about to take up from the riverboat ride.
No, he looks like Nigel Thornberry.
He does.
From the Thornberries, yes. Someone in the audience pointed that out before.
Nigel, get my car. Yes, sir.
like pre-ice age era. It's based on the sediments that cover it. And on the other hand, we seem to have another conflicting theory that the object was buried there as late as in 1917. I mean, this spans more than 100,000 years. The last ice age began roughly 115,000 years ago.
No, it's like 600 million years ago was the last time Estonia was covered in an ice age, my friend. So not 100 million, no, not 100,000 years ago, no.
You're somebody Alfred.
Huh?
And is Andy still in here? Because I wonder if Andy knows this guy.
Andy, is this guy right? Is he part of your culture? He sounds like it. Can we blame him on the UK? Andy, you're there? He may have fallen asleep.
Bruce waiting to come get his butler.
Andy,
he has had a long...
Is he there?
Oh no,
he's in the back chat.
Not the other hand with the nose.
Paging Andy W. Andy W. You have a telephone call.
Andy, wake the hell up! We got a question for you.
Hey, Andy.
Hey, Tom. It's Andy.
Hey, sorry guys. Yeah, it's been a very. I did too much national security.
We had to make the sound of Mike Disclosure's voice.
So where
does this guy here leave? Do you know him?
Who is this guy? Hang on, because I backed out for a bit. No, I don't recognize the face.
He's from the Estonian Dancing with the Stars, but he seems like he's someone from the UK the way he talks and how he has this mustache and everything.
He's, as Ross would say, he's from the UC.
And I think he uses the hair coloring company that is used by Bryce Abel, maybe.
He like a supervillain.
Yeah.
I keep it au natural.
Yeah. I know. I knew you passed out, but I figured if we made the right noise, we'd fucking wake you up.
I've been up for about 20 hours, mate.
I know, but it worked. It fucking worked.
It worked. And the national security helped to make me go to sleep as well.
Yeah.
I love you all, but yeah, sometimes time differences kill.
You know what we need for next time is the sound of a metal detector going off.
All right.
Do you think that there was an alien spaceship under that house?
Oh.
Well, I would like to keep an open mind, but as a filmmaker and an author and also as a scientist, I really don't want to form opinions before I have all the facts. But in this case, of course,
no. But they've got a book that they're selling right now called Object M, and here's the object that's under the ground, and they're already putting it on the fucking book covers. So he doesn't want to speculate.
We don't have all the facts. We have very little of the facts. But personally, I would like to think of this object as some kind of like a surveillance station or a monitoring device. It's like an ancient, let's say it's an ancient wildlife camera.
You know,
it's a bird
notice
camera.
there are two logos on this video.
It's been
for
perhaps
News
observing
Nation.
us, observing how the civilization unfolds for a long, long time.
So that suggests to me that you do think it's some kind of non-human technology that's been around for hundreds of thousands of years.
I would like to think that. I really would. And there is strong evidence to support that it's not really a man-made object. And when we say object, we don't really know anything about it. To this day, the size of it, the structure of it, the material has not been proven conclusively.
So Daryl,
we only have.
He doesn't know anything about it. So what the fuck is he talking about?
It's so fucking hilarious because throughout this interview, he kind of says the same thing several times. Oh, we don't know what it really is, but I'd like to think it's an alien vibrator underneath this house for the last 600,000 years, looking into my anus. Essentially, is what he was saying.
But he gets into a spot where he's saying it's actually moving underground to get away from the investigators.
AKA vibrating.
Have bits, shards. Was widely loved. She was a very a hefty woman with a hearty laugh and great sense of humor. She was our English teacher.
Now, we were supposed to have a whistleblower on tonight, but they ghosted us. Yes, they said, hey, you want to come on Saturday? We'd love to have you here, but I just saw someone in the chat whose name I'm not going to mention. I'll keep it anonymous. But said, hey, we're going to have a whistleblower come on the show on Saturday. Do you want to have him on? Absolutely. But you know what? I think we've done pretty good without it. Sorry, whistleblower, you couldn't be here. But hey, let's get back to Nigel Thornberry in the meantime.
She did a good job. And she also had been studying opera. And I came actually from the music school. And I continued to study music afterwards. So we immediately found like this common language. We used to sing a lot and joke a lot. And back then, of course, we did not quite know what was happening at her home. But we knew that she had faced a lot of problems at home. And indeed she had. Back then, when I was like perhaps 16.
Ice Maggie says he might be a whistleblower, wink, wink.
What? Where is it? What?
In the chat.
He might be a whistleblower, wink, wink.
Ice Maggie said that. Ice Maggie. He might be a whistleblower, wink, wink. And she said, I'm day drunk too.
I'll drink to that.
People seem to just suck, can't count on. Yes, actually, let me go ahead and do that over here.
Clinky,
cheers,
clinky.
My friend.
Take your drinky, sweaty nerd.
Yeah.
Clinky.
Over here.
There, on the other side of the camera. Come on, right there. Oh, it's always on the outer side. Come on, focus on the screen. Say something. So I bring you up on camera. There you go. Sir. Clinky.
Clinky.
Yeah, you have no excuse. You're wearing your glasses today.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's the weed, man.
Old. The problems had begun, and that was the time when the excavations had turned her backyard into hell, basically. Soviet military.
Okay, so this was, this goes on for like a fucking hour. Let's jump into 45 minutes into it.
Over craft. Yes. So comparing these two becomes
Andy's got his hand up.
That
I think maybe something has sparked his memory.
Crash.
We've lost like 30 people playing this schmuck, but that's okay.
Andy,
your hand is up.
I just have to say, yes, I did black out for this character, so I have no idea. I'm like, what the hell? It's the Twilight Zone for me with this bloke. But what the hell fucking accent is that? I think it's purported to be English. I've never heard an Englishman speak like that.
Really?
That is like the strangest English accent I have ever heard.
He does kind of look like Errol Flynn, doesn't he, though?
He does.
Yeah, I've just looked up and there is a what's this chap's name supposed to be?
Nigel Thornberry, I think.
No.
Nigel Thornberry.
Isn't that what it is?
I've lost him.
Nigel Thornberry is a cartoon character. Nigel Thornberry is a cartoon character.
I know that's what he looks like. He looks like that. I don't know who said. Someone in the audience said before he looks like Nigel Thornberry. He does.
I obviously blacked out at the wrong point of time. I am so lost in. I do not have a clue where I am. That is the worst English accent I have ever heard. I have never heard somebody speak like that. I'm totally lost in. I really am.
That's Tony Stark's Butler. Jesus. Jarvis.
Yeah. All right. Back to disclosure. Back to the United States. Marco Rubio says he's hand over the UAP portfolio to Stephen Miller. Come on, he's the Secretary of State. He can only do so many things, right, Daryl? People are taking this like, oh my God, he stepped away from disclosure. This is horrible. Well.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that, I don't know. I hope Stephen really actually wanted the portfolio. I'd like to think that versus Rubio handed it to him as something to do. But
yeah. Right, let's play it.
Trump should have appointed Dr. Evil. Really.
Godzilla?
Steve Miller is Dr. Evil.
No, I'm saying he should have appointed Dr. Evil, the real Dr. Evil.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Here we go.
conspiracy theory. Okay. And
now someone had said this is an interview with what do you call it? Is it Vivek Ramsey or is it
Vivek Ramaswamy?
It's either his wife or they said it was Vance's wife. I don't think it's either of them, but let's just see where it goes.
been on this UAP thing. And now, I've sort of surrendered that portfolio to someone else who you know well, who's very much in charge of the UAP issue. Again, it's not, what I say is, I don't know who it is, I don't know what it is, but there are things flying over our military installation and they're not ours, and we should look into this. It's also a very legitimate topic that we should be covering. So I don't call it a conspiracy. I don't know the answer to any of it. I'm just, asking the questions about, we should know what's flying over our airspace. But I don't think that's a conspiracy theory as much as it is just, it can be in some sense because people do believe we're covering something up. And I assure you, like in this administration, if we knew, like the president would be all over it. Like there would be, prime time address. He would, he'd be showing the pictures and the videos. But, Stephen's on that case now, and I think he's doing a great job with that. Did you hear a lot about it?
No, he says it's classified.
Oh, okay.
That must be Stephen's wife. Could be.
Well, CapCut is the name of the...
No, that's the name of the Windows application they use. Oh. It's free. That puts a bookmark on it, and it shows even people like Skywatch Signal can't afford their own software and have to use the freebie versions. I would never do that, ever. Watermark, no. All right, UFO evidence. Yes, if you were living under a box, you might have seen this. Yes, there was a solar eclipse that happened earlier this week. Oh, this is actually a good one to show you what a solar eclipse looks like when you can't get there to see it. And that's what an eclipse looks like. There you go, folks. Let's move on.
Well, that is Stephen Miller's wife, just to confirm you.
Yes. I was actually right on that one. All right. We got a clip here from a new media partner of ours, Richard Dolan, Intelligent Disclosure. We can play his videos now and not get in trouble. He understands the value we bring to disclosure, and he's letting us go ahead and share this with everybody. So let's get to it. Here we go.
Elizondo, initially, he referred to his non-disclosure obligations, but then he just said, simply put, Tucker, yes. And that was 4 years before David Grusch hit the scene. But what you really had with this was in Elizondo, a recently departed Pentagon intelligence official publicly affirming that the United States government had possession of UFO material. That was a pretty big thing when it happened. That's a lot different from claiming that Elizondo kept retrievals outside the public narrative until Grusch, forced his hand. And you really have to ask, if Elizondo's job was not to reveal the crash retrieval program, why in 2019, again, 4 years before David Grusch, is he going out and putting it out there? Just seems like there's a chronology problem there. Elizondo.
Daryl. Lou's going to be on Wednesday.
You don't say.
I could invite Dolan to be backstage.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If we do that,
Bingo. Bongo. I had Dolan. I had Lou on once before with Sean Cahill and Danny Sheehan. We had a round table about disclosure. Amazing things happened on that. Have to see where that goes. That's a good idea. All right, let's move on. Oh, we haven't played this one. I wanted to play this so much earlier this week, but we didn't have a chance. But now we've got Saturday to finally fucking play this clip. Jake Barber, I believe the United States government will use Skywatcher in the next 12 months as a peaceful, non-judgmental path forward to UFO disclosure. This is that interview where we all put, the googly eyes on the egg and Jake Barber. Let's see. Where did it go? Oh, that's right. Nowhere. Ross, what happened? Oh, yeah, it's Ross. Go figure.
Then the probability that what I'm telling you is exactly what is going on.
You want this investigated, don't you?
Yeah, I want to do the investigating.
Cocaine is
That's
a hell
what
of a
we're
drug.
doing. I want to.
But would you quite like to see, as a result of this story, would you like to see yourself questioned and held to account for evidence and tested, your allegations?
Yeah, we have an opportunity right now to work with the U.S. government and as a private partner. The place where we operate right now, we've been successful before in conducting our whole operation, all 5 phases of it. The U.S. government has shown an interest. They know we're capable. They know what we've pulled out of the sky. It's consistent with the egg and everything else I've told you about. And what they're offering to do now is give us exclusive use access to facilities because they don't know what's going on. Departments, there are departments within the broader branches of the 3-letter agencies that aren't being read into what other sections are. So they want us to help, and because we're one of the few groups of people that have experience, and we provide them a path to redemption.
So there's a real message here from you of incredible optimism about what this could represent.
Yeah, this is why I know disclosure is coming, and guess what? It's going to come out in the most beautiful way. I believe the United States government in the next 12 months is going to use me and my team as a peaceful, non-judgmental path forward to disclosure. They're going to help.
So why hasn't there been any follow-up by Ross on this, holding these claims like he does with everybody else?
Going to use me and my team as a peaceful, non-judgmental path forward to disclosure. They're going to help us conduct our operations and gather evidence in order to present this subject matter to the public so that these questions can be answered once and for all. And all the questions, I'm talking about, what do the craft look like? How do they operate? Who is operating them? How are they being operated? And where are they coming from? We should be able to answer those questions probably entirely in the next 12 months.
Can I put to you, there is a dark state. There are people who don't have good intentions, who want this secret to remain suppressed, aren't there?
It seems that way, yeah.
Are they going to win?
No, they're not going to win. They're not going to win. We've passed a tipping point. They're, like I said, when you're talking about these people, they aren't organized. You become a dark person by being filled with more vice than virtue. Virtuous people win. People full of vice, they lose. And they're dividing amongst themselves. They're on a sinking ship. All of the good people that are in these organizations realize they're in a position they need to make a decision as to which side they're on.
Yeah. Never happened, did it, Sweaty?
No.
We got his buggy eyes, and that's about it.
Yep, that's about it.
Yeah. All right, here's another one. This photo was taken in 2023 on August 20th, 2023 at 10 p.m. Mars time. Would you look at that? Would you just take a look at that and say, what is the fuck is that? Look at it. Just take a look at it. It's a fucking jellyfish on fucking Mars, right? That's being taken by our rover that's up there. That's not dead pixels. It's not anything else. Yeah, someone said, what the hell is even that?
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, on Mars. There's a bunch of pictures like that. And you just look at this stuff, and it's always in the sky, usually not on the ground. And it's kind of floating around doing different stuff. They have saucers. They've picked up jellyfish and other stuff on Mars coming from NASA. But there's so much data that comes back, it gets lost. And people said, oh, yeah, it looks like one of the towers from Star Wars or one of the creatures from everything. No, that's one of the jellyfish kind of UAP things. But there you go. Yeah, War of the Worlds, exactly. And then it's pissing out all the human blood from eating
you know
bodies.
what? That's crazy. Not to cut you off, Thomas. That's crazy. That picture of that whatever object that is, it looked like one of those what is it in Star Wars? the big
Fan
ass.
Fever, they're only $3 unless you have it delivered, and then you're paying $17 delivery fee for your $20 burrito. Just saying.
But that's what they like. They're like one of those from Star Wars. And
Well,
also like
it's like one of the machines from War of the Worlds.
that too.
Yeah. It's like the jellyfish. Whatever the fuck that is.
That too.
It ain't normal.
You think it's all connected with the jellyfish here and that object again?
Well, here's the thing, Sweaty. If things aren't safe on the surface of the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go? Under the surface of the planet.
Oh, that too.
So you don't see shit, but when they need to come out and do their things, it brings out again.
Yeah.
Just realize there are more things out there than we realize, and our government has been covering up life like this for the longest time. I mean, NASA keeps on gushing, oh my God, we might find microbial life, that there's life out there, when they got shit like this in their videos saying, whoa, what the fuck is that? Let's stop it. Let's find a way to go over in that direction and see what the fuck is out there. We just ignore it and keep on fucking driving. Stupid idiots who's ever in charge of NASA.
Yeah,
China gets it. They see something and it's like, well, we just need to go a couple hundred more, 1,000 meters that way, and we're going to get our goal. But they see something out there, and they're like, fuck that shit. We can come back to that whenever. We need to go check that out over there. Why has NASA lost the true spirit of exploration?
Because
administrative bullshit and dialogues, right?
Well, yeah, because again, they're being controlled by the deep state. Like, because there's no other reason for them
they're
to
controlled by the deep state. That would be equivalent to the unelected bureaucrats who are in charge of what's really going on day to day.
Yeah, I mean, because for years we seen images and videos and stuff, and every time people would bring it up. Oh, there's nothing there. Don't worry. You gotta be matter of fact, cut the feed off.
Exactly. But earlier this week, that was an anniversary of today in 1977. Space Shuttle Enterprise, crewed by Fred Hayes and Gordon Fullerton, made its first flight from a 747 during its approach and landing test to see if the shuttle could handle it.
No. All right.
And here we go. We got part of the eclipse going on over Spain. There you go. Sunflowers and everything. Just no migrants. We got that one. We haven't covered that yet. That's too much stuff. Loeb. We're kind of behind schedule, but it is Saturday, so
I am on an incredible supercell by Sydney, Nebraska.
I want to screenshot that and put it on my screensaver.
They are absolutely insane.
Yeah, great things going on in there.
Like that Scooby-Doo movie. That Scooby-Doo video I sent you on Twitter.
I don't know if we can play it or not, honestly.
Oh, okay.
We might be able to. That is a good one. You sent me that one. A socialist agenda. You know what? Oh, God. There I am back in the day when I was actually still showing the desk. I got the same keyboard these days, but I've just moved the desk a little bit beyond it. But
you were you were such a young guy back then.
I was a what?
I said you were such a young guy back then.
Oh, it's only like a couple of years ago, honestly. 4 years ago or so.
Oh, okay. You aged very well, man. You age very well, man.
Except
Whatever you're doing, keep on.
Let it grow a little bit longer. I'm a bit grayer there, and I'm showing less of the desk. But I guess I could put it out. It's just going to make me clean the desk. What am I? Well,
listen. Whatever you're doing, brother, whatever diet, food you're eating, or whatever your partner got you doing, keep doing it, brother.
Oh yeah, that's what it's about. All right, we got one clip. We got Dr. Phil. We said we're going to cover his stuff. Let's see where Dr. Phil talks about David Grusch. Here we go.
These pilots or occupants of these craft, to your knowledge, been taken alive?
Yes. And I know people who have had direct interactions in a detainment situation, which sounds very Star Trek and sounds very crazy, but it is true. And I talked to a former cabinet member about that, who directly worked the issue for a particular former vice president. You can guess which one. Darth Vader.
And were they able to communicate?
Yeah, that's when we're talking about, what's his name? We showed his picture at the start of the show. He was the VP for Bush. Dick Cheney.
Former vice president. You can guess which one. Darth Vader.
And were they able to communicate?
Yes. Yes. And it is true that some sort of consciousness communication, of course, people call it telepathy. I cannot begin to tell you how it works, but there is some sort of communication like that. And even friends of mine that were on retrievals felt that kind of communication as they approached the vehicle when they were doing cordoning it off, waiting for transport. How that works, what that means, I certainly don't know. I'm as curious as the average viewer on your show on how that works. And it does feel very Star Trek to me. I have no personal experience with anything like that that's outside of my normal human experience. But that is indeed, what people have experienced in the government with these things. So
there we go. David Grusch and everything that's there. Is there anything? We had the Perced media shower that was going on earlier in the week. Lots of interesting shots coming in. If you missed it, you've got next year. There was more stuff going on this year than last year. It came to a bigger, greater show. Shorter amount of time it peaked, but there was a lot of good videos out there and a lot of good times that, people were recording this. If you try to watch on a live stream, you would never see details like this going on. If you go on to another one, let's go ahead and cut the videos on that. Actually, the audio, I think we can listen to that. Wait. The people seem to have died off with their woos and oohs. Ooh, yes, even China's out showing their directed energy weapons. Yes, they bring them on and parade out like the United States, where they keep them hidden from the public. No, China likes to show off their greatest and latest technologies.
Seems like they would paint those things like camouflage as well,
Yeah, we got that.
But those are real. I had to check that out myself. They are for real deals.
All right. On that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Daryl, we've been gone almost 3 hours today, so I think it's about time to call us to a close.
Yep. My pizza has been delivered, and I'm ready to eat it.
Oh, there you go, my friend. That sounds like a great idea to me. Holy, except we have fucking sucky pizza horribly in Washington State. On that note, let me go ahead and find where the fuck did I hide OVS.
You should probably have a pizza oven then.
And then I want to find the music, and I want to say, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. I think we got some super chats. If I could find the fucking window where I've hit it. There we go. Ahead and let's bring it up. And not that one. Let me go to super chats. Who do we get super chats from tonight? A bunch of people. Scott Jensen for Clinky. Sweaty Nerd. Take your drinky, Daryl. Sweaty Nerd. Sir. There you go. Cheers. Mr. Catfish 2100, look at them on a galactic level, not Earth politics. Megan Betts, love all my nerdy besties. XOXO. Daryl is here saying buying a crown. There we go. And Laura Greeno, miss you, Cupcake. We miss her too, but she is literally on my desk for every live stream because she never liked when I was on with Dave Scott. She would always go around the fucking desk and just go in circles around it, making noises like she did not like Dave. I'm sorry, Dave. I like you, but Cupcake didn't. I just have to be honest. And from Ice Maggie, white unicorn with rainbow hair, whoever that could be. I don't know. On that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. Yes, we like to be serious about not being serious, especially Daryl. We do respect the laws of national security.
Yes, don't anybody drink and drive.
Thank you, everybody. And the national security for everybody else. And we usually say at the end, there you go, Sweaty, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody, but...
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. See you later, everybody. Y'all have a good time. Come back now. Here. Bye-bye.